Turn the Bluetooth on. Check that it's working on mother very quickly. Just checking here that, oh, here we go. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Can you let me know if you can't hear me or if you can hear me okay? Because I have a headphone that I could use. Birthday tomorrow as well. My God, the 1st of January birthday. Imagine that. Okay, that's good. If that changes, I can use the headset because I know it was quiet for some people last time. Yes. Happy New Year. Oh, we've got a lot of people join already. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to keep saying that because I know it's not the new year yet, but I am hoping for you guys to have a new year. Oh, the Queen. Her Majesty Queen Victoria, the Empress, the Endless Empress, ruler of the Clockwork Empire. Yes, she's there for sure. The shrine, because we're going to be doing some things today that requires a shrine. First things we're going to be doing is some tarot cards, just really talking about them, using them as a springboard for conversations, and there'll be some Q&A things. We can chat about things. We're going to do some demon summoning, as you usually, I believe that's traditional, on New Year to summon some demons. We'll be doing that. We'll go through a different few elements of mementos of my life. So some of the times I went to Blackpool, for example, or when I went to see Madame Eudora Windling's triple event. That was excellent fun. I can certainly talk you through that. Or just some of the people I know and some of the mementos I've kept. For example, this is some sheet music that was given to me by Constance Harkin. And things like that. So we'll go through that. There's Edgar Allan Poe we have. So we can do some readings of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. And we will, glad that you're up for the demon summoning. And we've got special rings for the demon summoning. Oh, good job there was no organs in that. I'm going to move that to the side. Yes, so we have our special demon summoning rings when the time comes. So there's that. I'll talk through some of the acquaintances that I have. We've got some Robert Frost here. We'll read some Robert Frost. We'll read some Byron. If you guys have any requests for poetry, if I know them, I can see if I can look them up. We're joined today. Oh, Florence and the Machine. No problem. Maybe I'll show my Florence and the Machine albums as well. That could be fun, couldn't it? They've got very nice insight to them. Just so you are all aware, today's stream is sponsored by Emily Dickinson. So we will be reading some of her poems as well. Emily Dickinson is actually with us right now. She's to my left. She's going to be feeding me some poems. She's a little shy, so she might not. Do you want to say hello? Yes, a little shy, so she's not going to say hello yet, but we'll see how things go. I also have one of these, a glass that I can use for magnifying things, which I think is a nice way of calling things out. So that's quite good. Birthday on the 1st of January, just like this, right on the off. And I imagine people could, Emily says thank you. People are hungover a little bit for that, I imagine. So that would be interesting. I have some gloves as well. So I have a steampunk Dr. Copperhand glove that I like to put on. I'll switch cameras across at some point as well, so you can see my face. And also I might take us to a space station, if you like. So that requires a little bit of jiggery-pokery, but I can take us to a space station which has some amazing drinks on there. You know those little ramyuns? Yes, it's very popular on the space station. Yes. Beep, 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 beep. So the copper hand glove. Used in one of my videos. Where are my reading glasses? Oh, there they are. I'll need those for later when I start reading the poems, so don't let me forget about those there. Magnify them. They're not the most fashionable, but well, the space station will probably happen later because it does require a transfer of rooms. Check, my grandma does not read tarot. Start learning about tarot. Well, it's easy enough to learn about tarot. You know, sometimes I think the pictures help you quite a lot. And if you know the basics, that will really help as well. So what I mean by the basics is, where would I start? I would probably start with the sort of cups, swords, so the actual type of cards themselves. You have four, which are the cups, the swords, the wands, and the pentacles. And they mean different things. Finger tracing. How does that work? Like, just sort of like tracing around. Yes, so we're going to have a lot of that sort of stuff. I have lots of tarot cards as well to go through. So I have the Dark Wood Tarot. And then we have Oracle Deck. Literary Witches Oracle Deck. I love that deck. Then we have the Edgar Allan Poe deck. We'll go through a little bit of the Fallen London cards. I love these cards. The cats, hats, bats, and rats. Also have what other decks do I have here? I have my favorite deck, which is under here, which we'll go through as well. I have a deck of many destinies for those who like Dungeons and Dragons. We can talk a little bit about D&D as well, for people who like D&D. And I'm just going to get some other decks here. So I also have the old school deck, which I like because it reminds me of Fallout. It's very cute little cards on there. And Labyrinth, you remind me of the Babe. So we could do a little bit of David Bowie. I did a video on David Bowie. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. Bioshock video, could do, couldn't I? Fallout. If you remember, I did one of those with Amy Kay, and she played Curie. Wow, I've got a lot. Actually, I didn't realize how many I brought. Okay, so I also have Skyrim. Remember that? Remember that collab? Endril, ASMR Weekly, and Shiver Me Tingles pulled together. That was a brilliant thing to be a part of. I also have shock, horror, steampunk tarot. It's massive, this one. Not my favourite. I don't really like it, if I'm honest, but you'll see why. And then of course we have a Lovecraftian horror, Necronomicon. Happy New Year, everybody. D&D is wonderful, so is Fallout. Fallout is one of my best. Yeah, I really like doing the Fallout ones. I was going to bring some Fallout props as well. So I have stim packs and things like that. But I left them in the other room for now. And of course, we have demon summoning. So we have our demon deck that we'll pick. It's crazy how far you've come, but also good start your videos from. Interestingly, my first video was not the first one I released. We also have some Dicemancy. Oh, look at that. Critical 1. Oh, is that a 1? Oh, that's a bad start. Let's try that again. 18. Much better. The first video I ever recorded was the Voigtkampf test. And it was taken in one take as well. Back when I didn't even know what colour grading or lighting was, so I just set things up. I didn't really have a stand for my microphone either. I just propped it up on some books. But it went very smooth, given how amateur hour it was at the time. And then I think the second one I recorded was the space station, which is the first one I released. Yeah. So I don't think we don't go straight into demon summoning, surely. That's not the way one starts, is it? Yes, no. We also have some coinmancy, is that what it's called? So we have some predictions that we can make via coin flips. Hat shop. Yes, that was a good one, wasn't it? I wore a green shirt to clash with the green screen deliberately. So it looked like some sort of futuristic, hey, it bends the light, how cool is this? You can see behind you type thing. But I think most people thought that was an accident. Which it wasn't. But right. I have some, also, like a book of English poetry. Chaucer all the way up to Rossetti. Moneymancy, I like it. There'll be no horror spexy today because well, that's brutal, isn't it? I can't believe that was ever done. Robert Southby. You know, we'll not be reading any Robert Southby. You know why we will not be reading him? Because he was very, very rude to Charlotte Bronte when she wrote to him. He told her that a woman's place is in the home and she shouldn't be doing poetry. So I should have ripped these pages out, but there's only two poems by him in here. You know why? Because nobody remembers Southey and everybody remembers Charlotte Bronte. So, what did he know? Okay, I'll put that to the side. I'm not saying this video is also sponsored by Charlotte Bronte, but we do have her here somewhere. So, we have her in our oracle white dress. We have her in our oracle deck here. I'm trying to keep on top of the comments as well. Yes, I'll definitely be doing another Fairweather. Fairweather are just too sinister, aren't they, not to do a second. And a couple more. I was going to do, I've done a David video, which is why I was talking about taking people to the space station later. Swapping zones, almost like if you've ever seen Crystal Maze, a bit like that. So yes, I've done a David, and I always feel like David is a little bit like Fairweather. You know, like Wayland Yutani is definitely inspiration for Fairweather. Building better worlds. Yeah. I can do almost anything that could possibly be asked of me. I can carry out directives my human counterparts might find distressing or unethical. But that's very Fairweather in my eyes. Somebody's seen the Crystal Maze. Which one did you see? Date yourself. Did you watch the one with Richard Ayoade, or did you watch the ones with Ed Tudor Pole? Or did you do something in between those? Or even older? There was O'Brien did them as well, didn't he? O'Brien. Happy New Year. The chat drops off within a few seconds when you put something in there, so if I don't answer, it's because it was subliminal only. I'm trying to keep up on it. SCP video before 2028. I don't know what SCP is. O'Brien and Richard. Yeah. Richard, yeah. I can't remember his name either. Iowa is hard to spell, yeah. The original was done by that guy from the Rocky Horror Show. We just buried Emily. What the juice? Just gonna put that there, like that. Please do a lowly medieval stable boy from the POV of a stranger who turns out to be the princess. I could do that. I did one where I was the prince and the POV was the butler. I thought that was quite fun because you get lots of butlers, but you don't get many butlings Is that a word? To buttle? The person being... I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, any suggestions on videos, you can definitely send them across. Any suggestions for poems. And first thing I'm going to show. Just give me 2 seconds. Because it was mentioned very early on. Somebody was listening to Florence and the Machine. And so I'll show you my albums, the albums that I have. Don't have very many albums. But this Florence and the Machine ceremonials. I quite like the vinyls. I have a gramophone, you see. Quite like the vinyls because they have like nice art in the center. So there we go. There's Florence Welsh. There. There's Ceremonials. Ceremonials has the song No Light and 7 Devils. I think that's possibly my favorite disc. Gramophones are very expensive. Yeah. But if you get a broke one, it's not so expensive. So that's what I recommend. You get a broken one if you know how to repair them. Fortunately, I knew quite well Isambard Kingdom Brunel's manservant, and he taught me how to repair them. So I've always been alright. The covers on the inside as well also have art on them, which I quite like. So that's my Ceremonials album. So I only have 5 albums. This is my second album, which is Dance Fever by Florence and the Machine. I really like the center of this one. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? When you fold it over, get the full length there. Howl is an excellent song, indeed. This is the back there. So that's my second album. And yes, someone mentions Lungs, and I think Lungs is probably the best album, even though I really do like Ceremonials, because The Dog Days Are Over is just such a fun song, and the way she sings it is excellent. And there's the Lungs. If you were to buy a Florence and the Machine album, I would say Lungs, yes, will be the one to start with. There's the center there. This is the back. There's not a side 1 and a side 2, there's a side in and a side out. And I have 2 more albums. This one is The Killers. And the discs, Rebel Diamonds in the Sky. The disc has a roulette on it, because the Killers are from Las Vegas. One of their albums it's called Sam's Town. It's a casino in Las Vegas. And so when the disc spins, you see it like that. If you've never been to Sam's Town, it's not that nice. And then my final is Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms. The reason I got this one is because I don't think there are any skippable songs on this. You know, we have So Far Away and Money for Nothing, Walk of Life, Liquor's Trick, Why Worry. So that the whole side for that is just one solid album that you just wouldn't skip. It doesn't have a middle because it's only one disc. But there's a fellow called Laszlo Buring who does Dire Straits covers on YouTube. He's very talented. Very talented. He used to work at Sam's Town as a kid. Surely not. How could you work there? It's 21 plus. You can't work. Can you work in a Vegas casino? That's interesting. Anyway, I guess depending how old we are, kid could be 21. So yeah. What's this as well? This is a marker, a token marker for Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. So play Dungeons and Dragons on the Monday and the Thursday. Not all Mondays and all Thursdays, but Undertale soundtrack, prized possession. Oh, sounds wonderful. You know, I've always wanted to have one that was signed. Gorgeously macabre, someone said. That's a lovely turn of phrase, isn't it? Gorgeously macabre. You could imagine Vincent Price saying that, couldn't you? We do have Vincent Price with us this evening as well. He is less shy, so he's willing to say hello. There he is. So he's just a little joke for you there. Obviously, that's not the real Vincent Price. It's just a Funko. But we do have the real Emily Dickinson. But we do also have Funko Mr. Poe. One of my favourite videos I ever made was Halloween video starring Poe. Loads of effort I put into it. And it did very badly. I think maybe I just posted at the wrong time, which was a shame. But I do want to do more Poe. And I do want to do more Tesla as well. You know, I stayed in the room that Tesla died in overnight. That was very fun. Pure fluke that I managed to get there. In the I'll tell that story later. You know, I'll tell the story about this now. If you don't have a gramophone, but I kill for a vinyl version of the Undertale soundtrack. Yes. I read somewhere that something like 50-60% of people who own vinyls don't own a record player. And so the reason I have them is to hang them on their wall for aesthetic value. So I have a little invitation here. Just adjusting something there because my air conditioner came on. Okay. So last Christmas, many years, 16, worked in the arcade section. Wow, I wonder, yeah, I don't remember any arcade section. I just remember a bad buffet. So, I kept this. I've kept this for years. This was one of the, well, I went to several of them, because once you get your foot in the door, you can go to more. Take my glove off here. And, visual trigger alert. Which one? Is this the little thing here? So this I kept because it's just the nicest invitation. It's made of velvet. And it's just stood the test of time. And it has, let's do some magnifying glass here. There we go. And it has black on gold. And this lovely golden tassel as well. And so this was from Madame Eudora Windling. I remember getting this. It wasn't addressed to me, actually. I was living with a gentleman called Gronwald. Reginald Gronwald. I actually have a picture of Reggie somewhere. Let me see if I can find Reggie. Do I have a picture of Reggie? Maybe. Oh, yes, I do. Yes. Somewhere in here. I made some cards out of my friends. And this is Reggie here. Let's have a look. So there's Gronwald. And he got invited to this thing. Here he is. He got invited to this thing because at the time he was working for Lord Howard Harkin. And he'd bumped into Madame Eudora. This is a long story, boring story, sorry. Eudora used to work for Lord Harkin. And Happy New Year indeed as well. And so did Eudora Windling. And so they sort of knew each other, and out of politeness, she sent Gromwald an invite, and Gromwald didn't want to go. He didn't believe in any of that stuff. Man of science, he's like but he was a very polite man as well. So he did, he took she took down the dress and he took the invitation. And when he didn't want to go, as I say, I was his roommate at the time, I went. in his stead, I mean, how could you not go? I mean, look at this. Let's see what it says here. Let me read it to you. Madame Eudora Windling graciously invites you to the most exclusive and elegant mystical conveyance of the year. So I mean, that was nice. And commune. Oh, someone mentioned my story. Thank you very much, darling. I very much appreciate it. I consider a bit of a perfectionist, So I recorded the thing, and I thought, shall I record it again? But I'm not sure. Maybe I should just release it. Maybe I'm just too much of a perfectionist. Should I record it again, or should I just release what I've got? The reason I wanted it to be perfect, is because it has Tim Downey in it, and it also has Devorah Wilde in it. So the Tim Downey, the Devorah Wilde. If you don't know what Baldur's Gate is, or you don't know voice actors, the actual Gale and the actual Skva Lae'zel are in it. Briefly, just their voices, some voice acting from them. They kindly agreed to do that because I was going to release it for charity. So that was very nice of them. Shadowheart is not going to be in it because I have one of your favorite ASMR artists doing Shadowheart, and I also got someone who does an amazing narrator to do the narrator as well, who's another ASMR artist who you'll see. So where was I? Yes, so then she says, commune with the most socially exclusive spirits, aristocratic apparitions, the Edelion elite from beyond the veil. All the invitations sounded like this. Be blessed with esoteric and arcane knowledge only accessible to a medium of my renown and brilliance. She did quite love herself, Windling. She was a big fan of herself. Ingress commences at 6 p.m. on the vernal equinox, at Gentian's moon's turn. And then in brackets there, because no one knows what that means, it says the 29th of February 1912. So that was the first one I ever went to. And I went to several after that. It was the 1912. This was the last day of the month. Was her triple event, they called it, because she did tarot card readings. Then she did some communicate with the spirits. She did very briefly, to a select few, some tarot, some palm readings. And she did another thing. What was the other thing? I can't remember what the other thing was. But yeah, she called it a triple event, but she did 4 things. So that stuck in my mind as being a little bit odd. But I do have a picture of her somewhere, a young version of her. Madame Eudora Windling. Do I have her here? It was great fun because maybe I don't. Oh, I do. Yes, I do. There she is. There she is. There. It was great fun because I managed to meet some very cool people at this. That's when she was younger, of course. She lived an awfully long time. Died in, I can't remember, 1970, I think maybe. So she hit her 90s, which was very cool. I had no idea how old Reggie, how long he lived, Groenwald, because he disappeared after a murder. We'll not go into that any further, but yeah, so I met some lovely people there. Captain Wolf, one of the people I met. I actually based a character on him. He did not enjoy it. I think he wasn't in his... I never knew Machiavelli. No. I must admit, it's a little bit ignorant of me. I wasn't very well travelled. I stayed mainly in the East Coast of America or England almost all of my time. Mainly London. Oscar Wilde said, when you grow tired of London, you grow tired of life. And it really did change a lot over the years. But goodness, would I have liked to meet Machiavelli? I don't know, maybe a bit scary for me. I know they say that the prince isn't really all about all the Machiavellian evilness. It's just how to be a good ruler. But I don't know, I feel like there's no smoke without fire. Never met that fellow there. I did meet Rupert Harkin once. Apparently he used to go drinking with her at the Dog and Duck Tavern. So he did turn up once. He was the brother, the younger brother of Howard Harkin. Do I have Howard here? As I say, just to remember them, I put them. I don't have. Oh, I do here. Put them in playing card deck. So there's Howard. There. Very, very unpleasant man. I did meet him once or twice. I met his wife, very nice woman. His wife, Lady Constance Harkin. Do I have? Yes, there we go. So I have Lady Constance here as well. Perfect listening to while I write my Harry Potter handbook. Oh, that's very cool. You're writing a Harry Potter handbook. Tell us more about that. So there's Lady Harkin. Talented, very talented woman. Actually, I met her before she was Constance Harkin. I met her when she was Lady, and I've kept this as well all these years. And when she was Ms. Constance Sandcroft there. So, yes, she was a violinist, a remarkably brilliant violinist, actually. She was quite young. She was at university when she played this one. And it was at Holywell Concert Hall. Holywell in Oxford? It's been a long time ago. Maybe it was Cambridge. But yeah, that was in 1901. There we go. August 1901. 4:30. Tuppence. Quite expensive at the time. But they did say that she was a protege. And the grand organist, of course. Everybody knows T.J. Hinton. So, I mean, I think he was put an extra penny on that. Millicent, I don't remember Millicent Price. Frederick Chambers, Leonard Birdmuscle, I don't know any of these people. The handbook is being written as if it's from the wizarding world. I'm including spells and wands of movements, positions. Now that sounds wonderful. Is this going to be for purchase? Is this purchasable? I'm very curious if it is. Because that sounds like a wonderful present from my good name, my best friend, Endrel. ASMR Weekly. I don't know if you know this, but ASMR Weekly, he quite likes Harry Potter. So, if you living the draft of Living Death. Living Death. What was I talking about? I was talking about Constance Harkin. Oh yes. There's some sonata. Is it Corelli? I think this might be Corelli. That was the one that she played. There is a recording of it later in her life on vinyl, but I don't think any of them survived, which is a shame. Your Victorian Doctor hat, what's it based on? You know what? I use it all the time, so it's just here. Let me have a look. Should we see if... which hat are we talking about? We're talking about this one here. Can I flick screens to say hello? Maybe I can. Yes. There we go, look at this. Is this the hat you're talking about? Here. This one, right. It's enough of my ugly mug. So we'll put that back that way. You know, I think it was just like saw wizards wearing it. Phoenician sailor, oh my goodness. Hello. Yeah, well, I tell you what I'm going to be getting up to. I'm going to be making sure that you're part of some of the collabs that we've got planned, for sure. So, I loved your last video, by the way. I thought that was so cool. Anybody here who has not subscribed to Phoenician Sailor, what are you doing? Why is that the case? He's one of the best ASMR artists of all time. So cinematically beautiful, everything he produces. It's, I mean, he's the reason that I started making ASMR videos. I remember seeing one of his videos and thinking, oh my goodness, it doesn't just have to be whispering, it can be like beautiful and it can tell a story. I think that's what, you know, Mr. Phoenician Sailor, Mr. Sailor does very well, is he tells amazing stories. But what he does perfectly is, it feels real. Like if he's being funny, his whole Hail Satan thing that he does, like the scary videos or the more irreverent videos, it feels like real. It actually, the way he delivers it, it is a smoking hat, that's right. The way he delivers it is just very convincing. So I'm always excited to see a Phoenician sailor video drop. Thank you for popping along, sir. I really appreciate it. But we do have some Agatha Christie plans and some other. Happy New Year. We have some other things planned up as well that we definitely want to get you involved in. That I think is your aesthetic. We have to do a nice big steampunk collab. I'm certain of that. Yes, thank you. So, we were talking about, unfortunately, I just have no idea who Mr. Leonard Puddmuscle is anymore. I don't think he amounted to something famous. Don't remember these guys either. Millicent Price. I wonder if she was any relation to Vincent. Could be maybe his grandmother. I don't remember. But yes, Constance Sancroft and T.G. Hinton, both very talented indeed. Let's bring these back. Who else did I meet at these things? I mean, there was another person who I sort of ripped off. Terrible, I know. But was Captain Ichabodium? No, that's not the one. Father Son? No, wasn't him. There he is. Dr. Hogmanay Copperhand. So he was often went to these things, very pretentious man. There he is there. And I created a very boring. All he would talk about was Queen Victoria. That's all he would talk about. You know, under big royalist, he was a surgeon to Her Majesty. And so you can see his copper hand there. It's actually brushed steel. It's not really copper. But that was his name anyway. So I took him as inspiration. Yes, she's perfectly placed, isn't she, to be looking at the camera. How do I heart something? There we go. Fallout ASMR, that was nice, wasn't it? With Amy K's Curie. Oh, goodness gracious. Monsieur, we have a test for you. Come through. So, that was Eudora Windley. I don't know if you want to hear any more about my friends that I met during those times. I'm more than happy to talk your ear off about them. But let's put Eudora back where it comes from. Usually handle these with white gloves so that my fingerprint is going there. Sort of British accent. I think that's because I'm sort of British. That's what I would describe myself as. Sort of British. So that checks out. This is from my visit to Blackpool. Oh, that was fun. It's back in the day. This was about 1912 as well, I think. Around about then. They had these things called volatant jennies. They were flying donkeys. And then they had this thing here, which was called I can't remember what it was called. Like some big giant donkey. Did I write it on the back? Maybe I wrote it on the back. Let's have a look. No, I just read about the volatant jennies on there. And it could hold 100 people. And it would go up and down the pier. And it used to walk on little legs. It was a little bit like one of those walkers from Star Wars. Come to think of it, maybe Star Wars people ripped that off. Maybe. Okay. So, I think it's probably time we summon a demon. What do we think? Our first demon of the day. Where are my demons? Where are my demons? Let me find them. Here we go. Right. So I should put my demon rings on. Does anybody know what that symbol is? I don't. And then I should have another ring here. Another demon ring. I need to put them both on. Asmodeus, is that what it is? Okay. Do you know what this one is then? Is that the same thing? Are they the same? No, they're not the same. This is different. think this might be Hail Satan. There you go. Phoenician sailor, not the Phoenician sailors. Really cool characters. Okay, so how do we summon a demon? Very simple. We just shuffle these things. And then we make a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is our demon. And we remove them in the opposite way that we had before. And then let's find out who our demon is. We have Orabas. Now Orabas, this is a tarot card deck, and it is linked everything to a demon, and it has different parts of information for demons. Now this one relates to the 3 of Pentacles. Now, where is my... Here it is. So 3 of Pentacles, and then there's the language it's originally in. Then we have a picture of the dude here. He's pretty ripped, and a horse, it seems. And then it tells you what the demons... A lot of these demons are pretty nice demons, so that's why there's no fear, really, in summoning one. So this is the... What was it again? We said this was the 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. It's usually, you can tell by the picture. It gives you a little hint. But I don't have the picture, and I don't, so it's not the original tarot cards, but I think that's to do with creativity, skill, success, mastering a talent of some sort. So let's see what this demon's power is. Let's see what he's going to bring to us, shall we? Answers questions about the past, present, and the future. So that's everything then, I guess. So he can answer questions. Didn't need all those other bits. Gives dignities. What's a dignity? I mean, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Really. He also grants favors of friends and foes. So if he likes you, if he doesn't like you, then he'll still grant you a favor. He's a jolly good fellow, isn't he? He's a jolly good fellow. Let's see what the last thing is. Faithful servant. So that's nice. So we've summoned a particularly Orabas, a particularly nice demon here. Got horse themed, and also seems genuinely a very nice person. If we have any questions for him about the past, present, or future, you can ask it now, and we can go through some coinmancy or things like that. Yes, collaboration. 3 of Pentacles. It's all about collaboration. I'll take the demon rings off. Don't think we have to wear those for everything. Hey, so coins. Should we do coins? I love coins. This Queen Victoria coin, memorial for her Jubilee. This is a Jubilee coin. Then you can see the unicorn and the lion on there. It's a 5 shilling coin. 5 shillings is a lot of money. 20 shillings in a pound, and 12 pence in a shilling was how it went. Baphomet symbol, I think you might be right there. So yeah, so 144 pence in a pound, 21 shillings in a guinea, and so 5 shillings. I mean, depending on when this was, let's have a look. I don't know, maybe say 1910. 5 shillings could be, depending on what you do as a job, that could be a week's wage. You know, like a pound note a day, even in like the 50s. So this could be a good chunk of money. We're going to do some coinmancy. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask the coins for entertainment value only? John Constantine. You know, I'm not sure who that is. Oh no, I think I do know who that is. Yeah, that's the... I think I've seen an ASMR roleplay on him. First thing I thought of when I saw Constantine is the Russian guy from Villanelle. Did anybody watch Villanelle? That was a good think of a question. And we're going to pick a coin. Pick a coin by 6 coins. I've got more than that, actually. But think of a question, hold it in your mind. I'm not sure where I got them from. 3 of rats. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're going to use the Medusa coin. Okay. So there are 2 things. Killing Eve, that's it. That was what it was called. Killing Eve, somebody watched it. Good sure that wasn't it. So what we have here is the Medusa coin. Ask your question. Wouldn't it be nice to ask a question about 2025? There she is. And snakes for hair. There we go. I'm not sure the other side. We'll just spin it. So did you have your question? Mr. Paul, we'll have to move you around a little. Yes, what question are we going to ask Medusa today? Let's have a look. Well, time's up. So the answer is, oh, shine it up. The mirror. We've got the mirror coin. So, a time for reflection. Not a time to be turned to stone. It's a time to sit back and reflect. You know, I always say there are 2 types of decision. There are one-way and two-way doors. One-way doors, you have to be very careful, make a careful decision on that, because you can't track back. That's the end of it. You've just made your decision. So that requires a lot of analysis. But then there are 2-way doors as well, which, if you do it, then you can backtrack very easily. So you don't need as many videos, as much thought, or have to be as concerned. Icarus says, oh, how I miss your videos. I have one coming out this Sunday. Isn't that nice? It's David from the Prometheus. It took ages to get done, because I ambitiously built the set for Astarion in his tent at night, and I built a set for David as well, and that was not such an easy thing to do. Okay. What are we going to do next? I said we would do some poetry. So should we do some Robert Frost? Emily she can wait for now. Last time we did loads of her poems. She was more than happy with that. Let's see. Where is Mr. Frost? Here we go. Robert Frost. Should we go with a famous one? Some of these are very, very long. So maybe we'll go with a slightly shorter one. Mending Wall is a good one, isn't it? The Road Not Taken, how about that? 2 roads. Let's read that one. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. To be one travel along I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took another just as fair, as having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wondered where, though, as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads to way, I doubted I should ever come back. I should be telling it with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all of the difference. Mr. Robert Frost. He actually, you can listen to him read his own poetry. He did some recordings on that. 12. Should we talk about D&D for a little bit? I've written a few D&D adventures. As I say, I played D&D sometimes on the Monday, sometimes on the Thursday. Thursday, very fun. What time is it currently for me? Do I recite that in the night video? That's a good one. Look, if you remember the night videos. I don't wear a watch. I find them cumbersome. I personally live my life on Her Majesty's perpetual midnight time, which means it's midnight for me. Always midnight, because I just find it cumbersome to have times. But let me look at my pocket watch. Fine. It is 1900 hours. So, what's that? 7 p.m. here. Yes, 7 post meridian here. But the truth is, I'm almost always on Her Majesty's perpetual midnight time. Little drink. You know, wouldn't LARPing be fun? I do not LARP, but it would be fun. Look who it is, it's the knight, the 2 knights. I wonder if I could do that. Can I, off the top of my head, can I do that knight thing? Let's try it. What was it the Irishman said? The knight and the bishop. Now, the knight can move 2 places forward and 1 to the side, or in any combination that he likes. Whereas the bishop can travel the whole length of the board, as long as it's diagonal, and it stays on its own colour. Convention dictates that the bishop is the better piece, because it can travel further, and it can take more often. But I'm not so sure about that. You see, the knight can protect another knight. They can be positioned in a way that they're both protecting each other. Not so true of the bishops. They have an ecumenical schism, which means one is forever stuck on the black squares, and one forever on the white. So they can never protect each other. And so, I think that makes the knight the more nobler piece. Because it's not about what we take, or about how far we can travel, but it's about what we can protect. And if there's one thing you take from this lesson, it's that. The knight and the bishop. That was alright, wasn't it? I think that it wasn't exactly correct, but it was close enough. What did he do for the pawn? The pawn was socialist critique, but I can't. Was it something like the pawn? We can move 2 squares at once on the first move, but then 1 thereafter, or 1 in general, just slowly clicking towards the end. And if you can go the whole labyrinth all the way across the board, that incredible dangerous journey taken on the sides, then you can be promoted to anything but a king. Now the moral of that is, no matter how hard you work, they'll never make you a king. I'm sure one day they'll have a better system than that, but it'll not be by allowing pawns to become kings. I wonder what it'll be. The pawn. So that was the night, wasn't it? He just had his socialist leanings. There is a third one, you know. Someone said they went LARPing. The chat keeps disappearing, which is so frustrating. I wonder if I press this button if it'll stay. Live chat, top chat, live chat. Oh, there we go. Now it's stuck. LARP on time, and we'll be going LARPing, of course, with friends this month. Oh, I don't really go outside very often, so I don't know if I would be doing much LARPing. It does sound fun, though. It does sound fun. But I do my D&D. I've been trying to tell the story for 20 minutes, and I keep getting distracted. So, D&D, or do we gotta be in Northern? I don't know any south of the border who would have a picture in his house. Oh, it's Her Majesty the Queen. Of course, it's definitely from the north. I try to copy my accent from Northern Ireland. Just listen, trying to sound how my grandparents would sound. And a lot of people on the video, they're like, oh, I knew you were from Ireland. I can tell exactly where you're from. You're just outside of Belfast. northeast of Belfast, and they named a few places. And I suppose is yeah, I did my best. It's the king. Heavy is the head that wears a crown. Which is maybe why he can't move more than one square in any direction. Just weighed down by those weights of responsibility. You know what makes a good king? Listening to your advisors. That's how you win at chess. You make sure your king is protected and he's listening to his advisors. And his advisors are making the moves and the strategic decisions. Picking good advisors and listening to them is how you make a good king. The queen. Nothing is more noble, nor beautiful, nor higher than love. And if you'd ever met your mother, you'd know why. The queen sweeps across the board in the most elegant of manners, and she herself is the strongest piece on the board. The key advisor to the king. She looks a bit fed up there, doesn't she? I really want to play D&D, and me and some friends are getting campaigns, but it's going slowly. If it's not okay, I can ask what material or colour you use for you. Keeps. You know what? I'm going to open up my phone, and I'm going to have a look at the chat on the phone so that I don't keep missing it. And let's have a look. I'm going to do Tinglesmith. We're going to search for that, and we're going to do it as Tarot Card Smith. And let's have Tarot Card Smith say hello, because he is me. So let's get him into the chat. So there we go. There he is. And I really want to play D&D. If it's not a bother, okay, can you material what colour you use for your Victorian doctor hat, please? I don't know. Made for me, but it was blue. And I think it was Blue Velvet. That's a song, isn't it? Maybe that's just a song. Maybe I'm getting confused. As a Southern English person, didn't notice at all, though you were English. Thought you were English. You thought I was English when I was doing this accent? How Southern are you that you could think that this was an English accent? Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, are we talking the land of Poldark here? Are you from Cornwall or Devon or wherever? She looks a little fed up there. She really does, and I understand why. You know, should be the real ruler, really, I'm sure. Southern English person accent, no need to hide it. I don't really have an accent, unless you think I have an accent, because I've made I don't know, just traveled around a lot, and as a consequence, my accent's all mixed up. Yes, which is fine by me, but I am not a Southerner, even though I spent some time in the South. He had a bit for the castle, also known as the warder, which is like num 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 numbing on his shield. Look at that, num 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 num. It's actually possibly the most frightening piece. Num 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 num. But I can't remember what he said for that. Let's put it there. So, Dungeons and Dragons. I had this thing. I play on a Monday, and I play it on a Thursday. And this picture here. I found this recently. I thought this was very cool. I'll show you it. I learned two things from this picture, which took me a little bit of time to figure out. It's actually in really good nick, given how old it is. I really should laminate it, but I played D&D easily because someone in the PDF handbook, and I stumbled a group of group play. That's right. That checks out. I have similar thing. Born and raised in America, I sound like various European accents smashed together with my American one. It's a terrible burden to bear, isn't it? Is anyone really super old and British and remembers something called Up Pompeii, starring Frankie Howard? Does anybody remember that? There were only like 7 episodes made, so I'd be very surprised if you did remember that. anybody does, I'll talk about that. But otherwise, hello, dreamer. Nice to see you there. Happy New Year. So, what did I learn from this? I learned two things from it in the back. Took me a little bit of time to work it out, but remember this, Wolfie. All my love, Ava. Wolfie. Captain Ichabodium Wolf. So, Ava, this is Lady Smythe. This is Lady Smythe Leon. So not only do I find out what Lady Smythe Leon looks like, but also her first name was Ava. Ava Smythe Leon. I don't know what I did expect for her first name, but she looks very Indiana Jonesy, which checks out because she was an explorer, wasn't she? So I think that checks out. There we go. Good. The hat there. Lady Smythe Leon there. I English it up in my videos. Oh, do I? Oh, I mean, depending on what I'm doing, darling. If I'm doing an Astarian, of course. Astarian, I think he's from Yorkshire, that dude. Yep, by gum lass, I'm from Yorkshire. So I don't think he has a posh accent in the slightest. But he puts it on, doesn't he, darling? The same with Tom Ellis, who does Lucifer. Ah, my name is Lucifer, and I love drugs. Yum, 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 yum. So, I think, Happy New Year. Yes, so it depends on what role you're doing, I guess. That Lucifer has a very English accent. 10 of hats. 4 of cats. 8 of rats. And the 10 of bats. Hats, cats, bats, and rats. So I was talking about D&D. Well, I mentioned Frankie Howard, didn't I? So there's he used to do this show where he would do a prologue, and it would be like a 10-second, well, no, like a 30-second prologue, and he'd be like, oh, things have been very busy this week, blah blah blah, and this is the context, and off we go with the episode. And one of the episodes, he was kept trying to do the prologue. He was like, the prologue. It's been quite a week, and then someone interrupted him, and he's like, and then something else happened, and there was a little breakout of a fire, things like that. And he went the whole half hour trying to get through the prologue, and he never managed it. And he was like, the prologue. And then when he finished the prologue, that was the end of the show. I thought that was quite a clever thing to do. And I feel like that's my D&D is my prologue, and I've not got through to it yet. Anyway, D&D. I play D&D on a Monday, on a Thursday. On the Thursday. What made you into the Victorian era stuff? You remind me of me as I love post and before World War One. Don't like World War One, just the bits before and the bit after. Makes sense. Great War was not a nice thing. I don't know, I just, I guess it's what I remember. That's why I like it. I was born in I think it was 1810. It was 7 years. When was Charlotte Bronte born? She was 7 years younger than me. I think she was born in 1817. You'd have to check that. But didn't really keep that many good records. But how is he doing what? What are we doing? Didn't keep that many good records. So I just remember, I was growing up with the Queen. Obviously the Queen not much later, of course. And some of the, we're going to get fireworks, so there's going to be a little bit of noise. Just an F to your YI there. And yeah, I mean, that was really the only reason for it. I mean, people have nostalgia, don't they, for their childhood. Why do you like pre-World War One is a long time. Are we talking about and post? Are we talking about T.S. Eliot, just after? Talking about what happened in the war? Are we talking about 600 AD? Do you remember Ethelred the Unready? God, he He was good, wasn't he? Ethelred the Unready. I wasn't knocking around there. The princess herself, Princess Victoria. Not the queen, the daughter of Victoria there. They used to call her the incognito princess. And you can see her here, incognito. She's wearing a very small tiara. So that's what she would do. She would wear a very small tiara and she would go around the working class pubs of London and people wouldn't know that she was royalty. And then sometimes she liked to surprise people by taking off her small tiara and putting on a very large tiara and saying, actually, I'm the daughter royal. So the incognito princess. Yeah. She flew on a sky ship once with a wolf. I think he gave her a job. She didn't want paid, or she wanted a ludicrous sum of money because she thought that was how people got paid. And then he explained what the going rate was for an officer, and so she said, "Oh, well, forget about it then." And he was like, "Okay, well, good luck." And she's like, "No, I'm taking the job. Just forget about paying me." And he went, "Okay." So she did not. She wasn't very useful. She wanted to work in the coal, the engine room, but she did not want to get dirty. And that's the reason you salute with your palm down. It's because you greasy palms or dirty palms. So you salute an officer with your palm down, so you didn't show him the dirty side of your hand. So yes, that wasn't for her, and it was very laborious. She used to do lookout. She did some lookouts work every night. I mean, most of the time she just spent in her room, the best room as well, by the way, reading. And then she would do some cursory lookout, she would call it, crow's nest. She only went there to smoke cigarettes. Large, long Gauloise cigarettes. I don't know if you've ever seen them. I do not encourage anybody to smoke. But they were beautiful French cigarettes, and they were different colours. So like purple or green or red. They had different papers. And I remember the incognito princess used to smoke Gauloise. Yes. And call it lookout duty. And she did not pay any attention whatsoever while she was on lookout duty, indeed. So yes, the incognito princess. This one's quite cool, isn't it? The lions. Yeah. I'm going to tell you. I tell you what. Can we? The first answer gets this. Would you like to hear about the D&D? Would you like to hear about more of my Victorian friends? Or should we do a tarot card reading? What do we think? What are we going to do while I have a little drink here? Tarot, that was quick. Let's do it. Should we do it with my favourite deck? D&D, second. Okay. Let's pick a tarot card deck. Should we use Edgar Allan Poe? We've got 2 tarots. 1, 2, 3. 3 tarots. My poor Victorian friends. No one wants to hear about Gromwald. God, he was an interesting. I could talk about Gromwald for hours. That was such a nice guy. And the same with Constance Harkin. I hardly spoke to her. I only had a few meetings with her, but I could talk to her about her for hours. Anyway, what we do is we'll do a tarot card reading. Because first in, and we're going to use the Poe deck. And it's got quills. I don't know what quills are. Is that pentacles? I haven't really looked. We'll do a 3-card reading. Well, we'll come back to the Victorian friends then, Will. Glad that you like it. Then we go with the 3rd one here. Right. We can summon a demon as well later, but let's do that later. And I tell you what, if we can manage 100 people, then we're going to go to the space station. Okay, so let's have a look. The 7 of Wells. Now, I'm assuming a well is a cup, because I really haven't checked that. But there's a quote. Let me read the quote first. It says, "And I have not told you that what you mistake for madness is but an over-acuteness of the sense." I wonder what that's from. What do we think that's from? Telltale Heart, maybe? Could be the Telltale Heart. 7 of Wells. Okay. So, wells, cups, cups in general deal with the emotions. The way you can remember it is as a cup, which contains water, the water element, and it's the sort of subconscious, watery emotions. And this is the 7, which is to do with, can I reference it with my other deck, because it doesn't really show you what it, like, I like the references that look like what it is, but I think 7 is to do with too many choices, analysis paralysis, not being able to commit to the, not being able to commit to the path, the course that you might want to commit to. Curious. Edgar Allan Poe, was he like that? I'm not sure he was like that. I think he was a man of action. You know, the sort of man who would wake up on the worst hair day of his life and feeling really hungover and say, I shall have one of my 7 portraits taken today, for I just fancy it. I fancy having one of my 7 portraits taken. What are my thoughts on Machiavelli? You know, I don't have a lot of thoughts on Machiavelli. Either 2 people have said that now, or you've said it twice. What are your thoughts on Machiavelli? You know, I never really had a strong opinion on him. We never met. As I say, I wasn't very well travelled in the earlier part of my. I mean, I didn't even go to London until about 1840. Yeah, around about that time. A little bit later, we had the railroads with Isambard, King and Brunel, but yeah, for my early days, I spent it in a little seaside town, and yeah, that was quite nice. And I spent a little bit of time in Haworth, which was nice. I say nice, it didn't have running water. It was horrific, actually, not very nice. But the moors, the Yorkshire moors, are very beautiful. So that was worth it. So, indecision, analysis, paralysis. Oh, look at this, another cup. We're really going emotional now, aren't we? 2 emotion cards, 2 water cards. Now, what does this say? It says, we gave the future to the wind and slumbered tranquility in the present, weaving the dull world around us into dreams. Oh, he's good, isn't he? He's good. Now, the 2 of Cups is about romantic love. So they've got some sort of, I guess that makes sense, this one. Lots of different ideas coming out of his head. So that does check out, actually. Yes, analysis paralysis. And then him and his love. Should we call her Lenore? Probably call her Lenore. And so this one is all about love. And romantic love, potentially. You know, the Greeks said there were I think 7 different types of love. So there was storge, love, which was love of the family. And we also had eros, which was more sort of like erotic love. And there was agape, which was romantic love, I think. Please correct me if you're a scholar or a Greek person. But agape, I think, is what we're talking about here. Romantic love. Perhaps a proposal, sometimes to do with marriage. Now, if this is a cup, well, our cup floweth over. Let's see. Candles. What would a candle be? A wand? Maybe? I'm thinking a wand. Okay. Because it's fire. The wand, yes, it's got to be a wand. Because wands are associated with fire. They're associated with a sense of creativity in general. And the quote says, deep into the darkness peering, long eyes stood there, wondering, fearing, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. Here I whispered, and the wind whispered back the word, Lenore. Now the ace is literal. It's just you take it on face value of what the whole thing is. Fire, passion, creativity, inspiration, and an urge to create. Let's be careful with taking this too seriously, because gives a very strong message, this, which is you are thinking too much about something. And it's something that might be to do with your romantic relationships, or it might be seeking a romantic relationship. And this is something you want to create. Now, if I read it literally, it's like talking about having a child. Now, I'm not going to read it that way because I don't think it's that. I think it is literally you're thinking a lot about something you want to do in your relationship or starting a relationship. More likely that, especially if you're single, it's like it's a new year. It's a time for me to go out there, test myself, and just see, go on some dates and things, and build something new and nice. Yeah, and that is our 3-card tarot reading. The second thing was the D&D, wasn't it? Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but I play D&D on a Monday and on a Thursday. And, we should probably do one more coin before we move on to that. There's a Death's Head coin. Hello, Pondering Owl, how are you doing? Hellenistic period. Yeah. So there's a death in a skull, and there's a life. So we've got life or death. Hopefully see you in the next stream. Goodbye. Goodbye, Matthew. Happy New Year. So I'm going to flip it back. Oh, I'm going to flip it again. Because we've got to catch it. Do you have a question for the coin? If you have a question for the coin, ask it now. And we will give it a couple of seconds for your questions. And here we go. Life. Creation. It matches perfectly with the tarot card reading that we had. Creativity. Creation. Something. Building something. Building something. That's perfect. So, are we just not Irish? Not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means unless it references something from the past. I have to be a bit clearer. So, it's going well, Pondering. Al, how's it going for you? Just putting New Year's decorations on the tree. Is there New Year decorations? Interesting. New Year's decorations. I saw your paper thing, and I thought that was very fascinating. I thought, oh, this is a movie. I don't know what movie it's from, but it was very nice. I really liked that. I always enjoy seeing your paper displays come to life. There was one with Moonlight Cottage that and some other artists in there. Are you excited for anything coming up in 2025? Well, I never thought I would live long enough to see the end of the world. So that is quite exciting, I'm just glad I'm going to be there. We filled in all of the cards, haven't we, on our Apocalypse Bingo, with climate change and AI, and also all the wars and things like that. So now I think we just sit back and enjoy it. I don't know what's going to win. I'm hoping AI. How about you guys? What are you hoping? I think that would be a nice way to go. Yeah, I think that would make an amazing ASMR video, wouldn't it? How cool would that be? To see the snipping and the changing things. What are you guys looking forward to in 2025? Anything in particular? I'm pausing like you're going to actually say something, even though obviously it's a bit one way of that. But I'm trying to read all the comments. Getting through it. I mean, that is a very fine plan. Is that Jack the Ripper? If you can get through it, that would be great. That's all we can really hope for. Sky the limit. It really is. The advancements in AI are going to be remarkable. ChatGPT version 5. I think that's going to be fascinating to see how good it gets. People are concerned about AI, which I get the concerns, But at the same time, it just seems like all AI does is chat with us, comes up with nice stories and paints pretty pictures. And yeah, it's a controversial topic. I don't want to go too much into the controversy of it, and, taking away jobs and things like that. But all I'm just saying is, it's sort of AI seems to be just trying to be nice, and we sort of see it a little bit of as a villain. Let's not blame AI necessarily. Look at this here. The only problem with AI is it's been trained on us, and we are not to be trained on. Can you imagine that? Trained on humanity. We'd never had a chance. Official rules. So this is Baccarat, Whist, and the most popular card games. But it's been censored for the prevention of moral turpitude. The Ministry of Public Decency has saved us here from whatever filth is under there. We do not remove. Of course I'm not going to remove it. Of course I'm not going to remove it. Right. Just going to check the comments again. That's funny. You have asked the AI to be when it is talking to you. It's pretty good at it. Yeah, I haven't. The iRobot film traumatized me, and traumatized me as well. AI is a defanged monster. Interesting. Elaborate on that. You can't just leave us hanging. Color realignment, you love that. Combine the ethereal, almost therapeutic soundtracks. Storytelling. I like doing that one. I would do another, but it did very badly. But then it can just be time of the year why things do go badly, If you could change one thing you have done in the past year, what would it be? That's a question, isn't it? I could change one thing in the past year, what would it be? I don't know if I would change much. I like to think I look forward. Past is poison. I don't think much more will come of it. Now that's an interesting comment. AI is scary only because it got so big. I don't think much more will come of it. I said that about many things in my life. I remember saying, it's a novelty. The silver screen, it will never replace theatre. Nothing's going to come of that. And then when it became a little bit with the talkies, I still thought, no. Nothing will come of that. Same with the steam trains. I really thought electricity would be a fad. Honestly, I just thought, look at how bright it is. It's off-putting. Sure, nobody's ever going to want to use anything other than candles. Candles are perfect. You've got the scent, beautiful smell of candles. I say the beautiful smell of candles. Not entirely true, is it? When I first was starting out, when I was first starting out, I just had reed lights, but then eventually moved to candles, and we used candles in Haworth. And it was animal fat candles, tallow candles they were called. And when you lit those, they smelled like, bacon, really, depending on where it was from. And so tallow candles aren't that nice. But then we got beeswax candles. And there was these, other candles. I'll think about that second part. Yes, West fencing. Because there are other candles, made of berries. I only ever got them in America, and only for a little bit of time. Yes, we start to crave our roots again, even though, yes, I think there's a truth to that. But does anybody, what are those candles that were made not of beeswax and not of tallow? Again, it's like some sort of berry. Bayberry, that's it. Bayberry candles. I didn't have many of them, but I used them once or twice. They smell nice. But yeah, so I remember thinking, wax candles. That's the key. That's all we want. We don't want electricity. Will never be a thing. But then it became a thing, didn't it? And so, as much as I would like to think that AI won't become a thing, I don't know. Sam Altman reckons general intelligence will be here within a couple of years. But it's not all bad. You could use it. as characters in your D&D. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I play D&D on a Monday and on a Thursday. And no TV, just books for me. I see. That's good. I love books. I love watching them when they become a TV or movie. That's my favourite thing. But I have loads of books. Some of them signed by the authors themselves. I've actually had the authors sign them for me. I met Alan Watts. Not Alan Watts. I always wanted to meet him. I never met him. I met... Who wrote Watchmen? Alan Moore. I met him, and I asked him to sign my books for me. And he did. And we enjoyed some alcohol together, which was very nice. And I also met Mr. Charles Dickens, and I got him to sign one of my books as well. Movies and TV shows murder good books in cold blood. It's true. It's true, but I guess there's a reason for it. They've got to get something that's really long and considered down into like an hour or two. Are there any conversions from books to TV that were better? Are there any at all? Are there, well, 63 were close. Are there any at all that were better? Or none? What do we think? None? Let's do a Robert Frost poem. General intelligence is quite scary. AI learning though. Ultron situation. You know what? Movies. Go on then. Give me a movie out. What was turned better? Oh, you're right. Well, that's true. I mean, actually, I would like to think. I am going to say it, and I'm just going to upset everybody with this controversial opinion. Lord of the Rings trilogy movie was better than the books. No Country for Old Men. I never read the book, but I loved the show. Remember that line where he's going, "Oh my God, Sheriff, we got to circulate this, we got to circulate this," and he's like, "Circulate what? Looking for a man who has recently drank milk." That was my best American accent that I can do. I like him when he tells that story as well. Remember the story? He's like, even between steer and man, it ain't such a first forward certain thing. And the guy who can't lift his hat anymore. People like the American... I don't know why, but it feels like when people do the American accent, it's always down south, isn't it? No one, no one... I guess people do Jersey, don't they? Or Italian American, oh wait, yeah, I'm walking here, like the New York style. But I can't do American accents, I'm afraid. I sometimes tell people that this is an American accent. You know, if anyone's watched What We Do in the Shadows, you can get away with it, can't you? Like when Laszlo who did he become? Jackie Daytona. And she's like, "Jackie, you says he's from Arizona, but you sound all fancy like." And he says, "What do you mean? This is how we talk in Tucson, Arizona." So I suppose I do have a Tucson, Arizona accent. I think Dr. Strangelove. I never saw that. But Tucson, Arizona. What was I talking about? Boston accents. A friend of mine UK tried to mean accents, Canadian Pacific Northwest. And she often goes full southern. That's just as good as it gets. If you want to do Pacific Northwest accent, I don't know what you do, but I know what you talk about. You talk about only two things over and over and over again. Hiking. Hiking is so great. Basically walking, but more difficult. And skiing. Skiing. Like, someone asked me once, they said, "Do you like skiing?" And I said, skiing is about being cold and frightened. And I don't need to go anywhere to do that because I'm always cold and I'm always frightened. Does this look cool? Does this look like I could be part of a bicycle gang? Is that what they call them? Bicycle gangs? Bicycle gangs. Just reading the comments. Description of skiing for me. It is, isn't it? It's just get you, like you're rattling down a hill on two pieces of wood. You have rain. Rain constant, and like people are talking about the rain. I'm gonna take this off. The bad. You know what I thought was good as well? Watchmen. They made Watchmen into a movie, and I thought it was pretty good. It did very badly. I had a signed copy of Watchmen by Alan Moore himself. You know, Alan Moore told me where he got the inspiration for the owl, and he told me not to tell anybody. Bicycle Gang. That's right. That's right. He told me this is the whole inspiration of the owl. Don't tell anybody. So that's a rubbish story, because I'll never tell anybody. If I had to consider myself anything, I'd consider myself Scottish, I think. Yeah, Scottish. Even though I can't do a Scottish accent. We're going to talk about D&D. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I play. Happy New Year, Angela. Yes. It's hiking, skiing, and indeed. What do we have else? We had. I did talk about another set of cards that I liked, which was really retro-looking, didn't I? Called the Old School Tarot, and it reminds me of Fallout. So let's get this out. And it reminds me of those old-fashioned cartoons. Does anybody have a tattoo? I don't have a tattoo. I wish I had a tattoo. I don't know. I don't know. I'm too fickle. But anyway, it would probably be some sort of tarot-based thing. And a lot of people are wondering if I'm a fan of Machiavelli. Is this a meme? Is that like a meme thing? Because a lot of people. So only a couple of things could be here. One, it's like a meme. Two, or it's a joke, which is fine. I don't mind it, especially if it's at my expense. That's pretty funny. Three, did Jim Chi do a Machiavelli video recently? Is that what happened? People want me to do Machiavelli because Jim did it. Because I don't follow Jim, ideally, because you don't want to follow someone who's like very, very good at what they do. It's, you have to try something else, don't you? Or what's the fourth one? Is it the same person just rejoining? I'll tell you what I think of Machiavelli. I was quite indifferent to Machiavelli, but honestly, now I'm getting a little bit sick of him. That's how I feel about him. I'm sort of glad I never met him. Okay, so this is the old-fashioned, like, look how cute those are, Seven of Cups. Or look at the Hierophant. I'm not a crook. So I think if I had a tattoo, I would want like an old-fashioned Nine of Cups. An old-fashioned cartoon. As a fan of Machiavelli, I'm offended. I see. I mean, let's have a look at the next one. Page of Pentacles. See how cute those look? Get a Machiavelli tattoo to repent. Okay, Four of Pentacles. 6. Four of Cups. Oh, look how the sadness of the Four of Cups. That's perfect description, isn't it? Because the Four of Cups is to do with a feeling of apathy and a feeling of sort of sadness. It can also mean like a surprise gift. So hence something coming across there. So that does check out a little bit. Indeed. So these are very cute. If I ever got a tattoo, it would be a double sleeve over the 72 Kabbalistic names of God. Whew, my goodness, that sounds like a lot of painful work. Assassin's Creed. Love Gothic tattoos. I mean, yeah. How could you not love a nice Gothic tattoo? Edgar Allan Poe. A raven. Get a raven. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Let's have a look at a few more of the cute ones. And then we'll talk about something. Oh, look at this one. Very sad. One of the worst cards in the tarot. The Three of Swords. Ravens are wonderful, aren't they? I have 2 pets. One of them is a raven, and the other is a West Highland White Terrier. 5 of Pentacles. These are just so cute. Knight of Wands. Who's this? Happy Squirrel? Is that a real card? No. A happy squirrel. That's adorable. I love it. one as well. The Empress. You know, like a sort of Betty Boop style type thing going on. They are very adorable. My West Highland Terrier is from Scotland as well. She can trace herself back to the first West Highland White Terriers. I from the West Highland, like the Highlands aren't that big. There's no need to say West Highland. You could just say Highland White Terrier. I mean, like with the people of East, where they're like, oh my goodness gracious, that we refuse to have dogs like that. We only keep East Highland West Terriers, East Highland Highland Terriers. So keep out of here. That's the guy. I remember him. He did the Betty Boop, didn't he? And who was the woman who did the voice for Betty Boop? Boop boop beep doop. May Kestel. I think a lot of people did it, but May Kestel, I think, did Betty Boop's voice as well. And she was a singer. Look how cute the fool is. Enjoying my Victorian world. The fool with his little white dog. Bok Bok. Looks like my dog a little bit. Not that she was a pedigree or anything like that. I actually got her from... well, actually, now that you mention it, you probably don't know this, but I play D&D on a Monday and a Thursday. And I think now's a good time to talk about that, actually. So on the Thursday, I play with a group of ASM artists and a Hollywood actress, and that's very fun. In fact, I played with those, my first time I ever played D&D. I played with them online with a person who ran lots and lots of D&D stuff, a dungeon master who had like 6 online games going. He was a Twitch streamer. And there was me, there was Hendrel, there was Amy Kay, there was Shiver Me Tingles, there was Jinx, if people know Jinx, and there was a Hollywood actress by the name of Ginny, and that was all. And I'd never played before, and so I have all these professional role players and actors, things. So I'm playing D&D for the first time live. They were fun, weren't they? And that's good memory. That's indeed correct. Little Mackle. And Jeeves and Wooster. That's what that's on. Jeeves and Wooster. And that was intimidating. Your first ever D&D to be thrown into a very roleplay heavy group, playing roleplay, and 300 people were watching on the first one. All at one time, so that was very stressful and very fun indeed. And I played a little elven character. I got dressed up. Jinx would get dressed up every week, and she'd always have an amazing makeup and things like that. Like she goes as a mermaid or something like that. Anyway, so that's on the Thursday. And on the Monday, I have some friends that I met via D&D Beyond. They have a what's that thing? Discord. They have a Discord, and I posted something, and I said looking for roleplay heavy. So me and my actor friend and Hendrel, we play with a couple of other people. That's fun because they don't know that we're ASM artists or anything like that. So that is fun. And I've written a few quests, and one of the quests I've written is about the Bronte sisters. It's called The Curse of Thunder House. And it involves the 3 Bronte sisters in a large house, and it's a cursed house. There you go, just what you'd expect it to do. And there is Annabelle, who is also Anne. We have Constance, who is Charlotte. And we have Esmeralda, who is Emily. And Esmeralda can see the future by painting things. And then we have Constance, who can write beautifully, and Esmeralda's very, very good at, Annabelle's very good at the piano. And so you get to visit these people, and the whole area is cursed by something, and they're considered like evil witches. But it's not all that meets the eye at first. It's different to what you would first guess. And yes, that you get to have tea with them. You get to have like a little luncheon with them. And then you get an adventure around their houses and things like that. And there's sound files. Got some very ASMRs. Thank you, the Fatalist. And little drink there. And sound files from ASMR artists who've recorded these things as well. So we have some sound files, we have some videos. Angel's done some of these videos. Like, people love choosing their tokens, the token art, and he animates it all, and it looks just very cool. Yeah, I have an artist who pulls together some of the artwork. I was thinking about maybe selling them, because I think they're reasonably unique. And they're being, how cute is this one? They're being tested as we speak. So I thought that could be fun, because they're a bit niche. You know, do you want to go to a Bronte Sisters, the Bronte Sisters Queen of Pentacles house and go around very highly inspired? There's a one that I built based off Lord Byron as well. Look at the tower. That's called the Daughter of Fire and Water. The pixie. Is there such thing as a pixie? Like it. Which is a fun one. It's to do with very elementally themed. Bit of context for anybody who just joined. I think, honestly, if you feel like, oh, what's he talking about? I've just joined, and so I need context. This is how it's been the entire time. I'm not saying anything that's cogent. It's very, very disjointed. So you could drop now and come back in 10 minutes, and then, for example, right now, as you would expect, we're going to summon a demon. So, how do you summon a demon? Very simple. Take your demon cards. Nice, they should be nice and shiny, like that, nice and red, shiny. Give them a little bit of a random shuffle. Yeah. It's perfect timing. You joined just in the point of the demons. So 1, and then we have 5. We have to do the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have to remove the 5 in a random order. 2. I say random. That was more arbitrary, wasn't it? Okay, and then we will summon our demon. Grimoire. Grimoire, I mean, that's an odd sounding one. Where's my eyeglass thing? Right. So, Grimoire is the Empress. How cool is that? The Empress is... Let's have a look down here. Does it say? No, it doesn't. Empress is about creativity. Well, creation, sorry. It can be about abundance, and it's symbolic with fertility. So there she is riding on a camel. So, well, let's see. Let's see what DM. I used to have sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, you know, actually, interesting fact. One of my characters on the Monday game is a tarot card reader, and I feed her tarot cards. The entire deck is blank, but sometimes it just sort of like buzz, and then you open it up and all the cards are the same cards, and it might be the Hierophant, and it gives her a little bit of a warning of what's coming. Very vague warning, but a warning. And there's a big twist about those tarot cards, and I'll not say what it is, but she's gonna love it. Okay, so what's our demon gonna do for us? Usually demons are alright, you know, so I'm fingers crossed that Grimoire, a little bit like that, yeah. So Grimoire, it's actually the Raven Queen. I created Raven-themed tarot cards. So the Raven Queen communicates to her via ravens or via tarot cards. One time she had to communicate, like the character's called Swan. And one time Swan was like, please help me, Raven Queen. And she was at a fishing village. And a seagull turned up. And a seagull sort of talked to her. She talked to her through a seagull. And she was like, don't say anything. This is the best I could do on short notice. Now, what do you want? So one time it was a seagull. Didn't love that. What's she going to do for us? Well, she procures the love of a woman of any age. Wow. So, like any age. 100, 99, could be like 97. Okay. Any age. And it tells where treasures are hidden. Tells where treasures are hidden. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, this is like absolutely perfect for an archaeologist, wouldn't it? And what evil things does she do, though? Let's have a look. Tells of the past, present, and future. Gramophone at one point. I could show you that. It's heavy, and it would take some lifting. But, wait there, maybe I have a picture of it. I think I do have a picture of it. There's a picture of me playing it. That's, I don't know if this is going to work, but... Well, let's see if this works. There's my gramophone there. There we go. And you know what I'm playing on that? Florence and the Machine. That's right. Okay. Ceremonials, I think I was playing. It must be because it was no light. No light. So we've summoned a pretty nice demon here. We haven't went wrong all night. It was... I think... I can't remember. Actually, it was free. That's right, yeah. It was broken. Is in Bard Kingdom Brunel. He had a load of them, and one of them, it was his travel one, and it was broken. And so his manservant showed me how to fix it. So it was indeed free. Right. So we've summoned our demon. We were talking about D&D. So that is the... Oh, look at this. This is nice, isn't it? I love the animated one. Yes. Isn't that nice? That's taped on there. My favourite card is the 9 of Cats. Can we find it? 9 of Cats, are you here? But we were talking about D&D, and we have the Byron one. I also have another one, which was based off... where is the 9 of Cats? I have one based off Norman Bates, the Bates Motel. And I have another one which is based off a... When I find it, you'll be able to tell why I like it so much. Another one that is based off a circus. I quite like circuses. When I was younger, I would go to the fairground. I meant fairgrounds. I get the two confused sometimes in my head. And I would go to a fairground by the seafront. I would know people there, and my friends would go there. I really like this one as well. But that's not the one I'm looking for. Yes, maybe it's in here. Should we have a look? 8, so close. 9, 7, 9 of Cat. There it is. Isn't that one so cool? I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about the great. That is very funny. Actually, it's interesting you ask me about Machiavelli, because I quite like him. I met him once. He talked a lot. I remember I asked him to sign my copy of The Prince, and he said, "Who are you?" And then he told me to leave. So I liked him a lot. He wouldn't sign it. Apparently he didn't sign books. So fair enough. 9 lives gone. Just 1 left. I don't know. I feel like this card summarizes me a little bit. I feel like I've had 9 lives and I have got 1 left, so I'm going to have to be very careful with that last one. Using tape on them. Maybe I could just pull the tape off. Refresh a little bit. Let's see. Love it. So, there's that one, and there's one other thing in there. I have one called The Plague of the Loren Hollow. which my Monday crew are going to be going on soon. And I quite like that one. You follow an alchemist who has caused a lot of trouble with her experiments, and you get voice audio echoes. Audio echoes, and I also have a character that I play in D&D. I have a few different characters that I play in D&D. Eldruil the Elf, but one of my favourite ones is called Merrick Berryton, and he's based off Matt Berry, and he sings like Matt Berry. Matt Berry's quite a good singer, so he doesn't really sing like Matt Berry, and he does old-fashioned songs, but in a new way. So he might be singing Bad Romance, but in the sort of like bardcore style rather than in the modern style. So he was ahead of his time, Merrick Berryton. No one likes his performances, but they're going to grow up one day and they're going to really like it. Yeah. I'm going to grab a quick drink. Be back in 2 seconds. Oh god, parkour is brilliant, isn't it? What's your favourite parkour? Hildegard von Blingen. Just going to have some apple juice. Hildegard von Blingen is particularly brilliant, isn't she? I saw her Billie Eilish one, the Birds of a Feather. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I commented on that. It got like 2,000 likes. That comment might be the top one. All I said was, I hope Billie Eilish sees this, and I really do hope that she sees it. And she probably did. Full of flavonoids. Okay, let's do another Robert Frost poem. Bardcore song covers. Oh no, you're very wrong. A terrible voice. Terrible singing voice. Birches. That's one of the ones that doesn't get. I'll just do one off the top of my head. That is so amazing that you know Hildegard indirectly, like 1 degree of freedom. Yeah, she's very talented. Do a second channel. Don't believe that. No, honestly, it's terrible. Terrible singer. I do these effects so that it sounds like Matt Berry on the little recorded things that I do. So that is funny, but it's not good. Yeah. Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favour fire. But if it were to perish twice, I think I know enough of it to say that of destruction ice is also great and would suffice. I quite like that one. First poem I ever learned by Robert Frost. That I wrote it on an art project when I was 14. You know, at the start of Queen Victoria's reign, 50% of Britain could read, but by the end of it, almost 100% of people could read. And that's because they changed the school systems so that it was a lot more inexpensive to go to school. And they used it as a mix of prefects who would teach the other children and a single teacher at the front. And so you could go to school for a penny a day. And then eventually you had something called rag schools. Rag schools were ran just entirely by trade professionals. Merchants might take a day off, or other people who wanted to get involved in the education of the very poor. And so you could go for free. And then eventually they mandated schools to a certain age. So the changes in Queen Victoria's lifetime were significant. Going from, it wasn't because of her, but going from 50% literacy levels to almost 100% literacy levels in the course of 50 years. Pretty impressive. It's a good rule of thumb if you're trying to work out where things stood. Bats, bats, rats, cats, and hats. I remember Tommy Cooper. He used to wear a hat like that. Fez, they're called. He used to do these jokes, short one-liner jokes. Number one was, I went into the library and I asked the librarian, do you have any books on conspiracy theories and paranoia? And she said, they're right behind you. He was, I thought it was quite funny. Old-fashioned comic. Should we do another tarot card reading with a different deck? I don't necessarily like using this deck. It's not even a deck, it's an oracle card deck. And I've said this many times before, but it sounds like each card sounds either like a Penhaligon fragrance or a hipster Oregon small crafted beer. So let's have a look. The turtle and the coriander. Well, there we go. That's a Penhaligon's fragrance. The eel and iris. There we go. There's a crafted beer by a man with a beard. And what's this one? Upside down. The mouse and the buttercup. That could be either, couldn't it? What do we think? Craft beer? Oh yeah, this is, we call it the Three Blind Mice Brewery, and this is what our favourite number one is, the buttercup. It has these hints of buttercup and a touch of bubonic in there. It's real nice. Or do we think it's Penhaligon? That's like, yes, this is Lord Harrington, who we have characterised as a mouse, and it has hints of innocence and butter. All I'm thinking is needs more dog. Needs more dog. The secret ingredient is crime. So I'm not going to use that card. Oh well, go on, let's use it really quick. We'll use one. We'll do one. I don't know, I never think oracle cards mean anything. It just doesn't seem the same as a tarot. But they're easier to read, so we can just do one very quickly. Wisdom. The owl and hop. I mean, that's definitely a beer. That's definitely a craft beer. This is a small batch craft beer by a man with a beard who is renovating an 18th century cottage on his own when he isn't going to music festivals where he plays the lute. And he's created the Owl and Hop beer. And this is Wisdom. Now with more owl pellets. I don't know what that's from, but I do like it. Have you ever heard Bob Mortimer talk about how he looked after an owl on his deathbed? Anybody knows who Bob Mortimer is, then I have a fun story for you that you've probably heard before. What's this? The Cat and Lavender. Independence. That's definitely a Penhaligon's fragrance. I can smell it now. I think my favourite scent is lavender. This cat looks very mean. And the snake and the fern. Well, Bob Mortimer, it's only funny and interesting if you know who Bob Mortimer is. Otherwise, it's not that funny and it's not that interesting. Starting over. So we have wisdom, independence, and starting over. Okay. Sometimes you have to be wise enough to make decisions on your own. I'll just tell it anyway. Do decisions on your own. Because, especially when you have to start something from scratch. See? Sort of meaningless. I have to know why you change your PFP every month. What's the PFP? I'm not cool, with the kids. Bob Mortimer is an amazing storyteller. He's on a show called Would I Lie to You? And he was given a lie one time that was a very, very ludicrous lie. He said, "From now on, I always put an egg in my bath because our profile pic." I have to know, why do you change your profile pic every month or so? Well, that's interesting you say that, because I think I've changed my profile pic twice in 5 years. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I had the knight, and then, maybe 3 times. Then I had the elf, and then I had Astarian. So I don't change it that much. Why? Do you not like it? Would you prefer me to change it back to the knight? Can be done. Can be done. And so Bob Mortimer had to make this lie up that was... and I put an egg in my bath every time I have a bath, because Chris Rea put an egg in my bath, and since then I've never felt so refreshed. So basically the story he tells is he was recording an album with Chris Rea, and at the end of the album recording, Chris Rea said, "I've just popped an egg in my bath." He said, "I've just drawn you a bath, and I popped an egg in it for you, Bob." And so he just lied about it. He said that was the case, and everybody believed him because he's an excellent liar. And so they said true, and it was false. Chris Rea did not draw him a bath after recording an album and then pop an egg in it. And it's ludicrous when you think about it. They asked him, like, "Oh, did the egg turn white or anything like that?" Anyway, so there's the context, and here's the ludicrous afterward. When I was going to go to America a long time ago, Bob, a friend of mine, and he said, "How many times have you told me that you're going to come round to my house?" And I said, "I've got a lot of things to do. I'm about to head off to America in a week or so, 2 weeks. So I really just do not have the... Bob, I want to, but you can come visit me, because you know where I'm going to go live. It's a really cool place." And he said, "I'm definitely going to visit you, but I expect you to visit me before we go." And I said, "Look, I will only visit you if you run me a bath and you pop an egg in it." And he said, "I was already going to do that anyway." So I went round to see him. Very funny man, lovely house, and he popped an egg. So it was a lie, but then he sort of popped an egg. He drew a bath for me and popped an egg in it. So although it was false with that way, the other way around, it was the case. And you'll never guess what type of egg he put in there. I thought it would be funny, you're going to have like a cracking egg in there, and you're going to because he said you could use it like on your hair or some sort of conditioner, the egg yolk. But no, he put a Scotch egg in there. If you don't know what a Scotch egg is, look it up. But I tell you now, you don't want a Scotch egg in your bath. Yeah, I was looking forward to the showering. Somebody said something. What was it? Let me look at the live messages again. It says, "As a Texan, you should come visit our great state." Now oh yes, I think Grandpa, that's what happened. Yes, changed it twice very recently. No, you do not. So, visit our great state as Texan. You know what I think of when I think of Texas? I think of King of the Hill. And I think of Hank Hill. And I love sausage rolls. You can't get them here. Can't get them in America. Well, you can, but they're not very good. But I do love sausage rolls. But yes, the first thing I think of is King of the Hill, Hank Hill, and Boomhauer. Alistair Becker King, where he does the King of the Lord of the Rings of the Hill, where it's like Boomhauer is the Gollum. Is Gollum. Goddamn ring, God, hobbits take off my ring, man. I'm gonna talk about this Deer's curse, man. So that's what I think of. I quite liked, and the ring goes on Hank's finger. He's like, "Bwah!" like that. It's actually, he does a very good impression of them. And they also, at the Council of the Rings, there's Dale Gribble, and it's the one does not simply walk into Mordor. He says, what does he say again? He says something like, You can't just walk into Mordor, man. They won't let you. So that's sort of like this whole government thing. King Hill. So. Oh, you know, I remember there was a band called the Texas Chainsaw. What was the name of the band? The band was called the Texas Chainsaw Mascara. That's right. I used to be in a band when I was younger. Um, it was two bands. The Hylas and the Nymphs was the first one, and the second one was called. Oh my goodness gracious! Why can't I remember the second one? Because the second one didn't last very long. There is a YouTube video of our band, and I was the lead singer. I used to go on stage with a tweed jacket and a Thundercats t-shirt. The picture I remember of being on stage that was taken was I had yes, a tweed jacket and a Thundercats t-shirt and incredibly tight leather trousers. That's right. And I might have been barefoot. And I had a guitar which I couldn't play. And I was the lead singer. I was dreadful. And so there are videos. Good luck finding them because I'll never ever share them. But I believe like what style of music we play? Like I think is bad a style? I mean, sort of like indie music. Like indie think like who were we like? We were a little bit like we were like nobody good. But if you had a like say a famous band that was similar, maybe like Blur or Pulp, that sort of style. We did some covers as well. We did Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits was one of the covers that we did, and we used to drop a few of the words out of it to make it funny. I can't remember which words we would drop, but there were certain words that we would drop out of it. It's like, you know, the movies, like there's little bits that we would drop out. Charlotte Church of the Latter-day Saints. That wasn't the name of the band, but that always would be quite a good name of the band. Hylas and the Nymphs. We chose that because there was a bit of heavy, sort of like scary, shouty type stuff as well. We chose that because it was the most pretentious thing we could think of. We're like, what's the most pretentious thing we could think of? I did have another friend who was in a band called Pontius Fighter Pilot. Or was it like maybe that was it was either called that or it was called Pontius Pilot and his Light Rhythm and Blues Orchestra, I think, was I actually quite miss those people back from then. I don't really speak to them anymore. Just because we live so far apart and we never kept in contact, which is a shame because they were very funny. I remember one time we were about to go on stage and my friend was drinking white wine and a fly flew into it and he said, white wine, a black fly in my Chardonnay, how ironic. And I remember thinking that was really funny and I did laugh a lot before we went on there. Wow, that was a lifetime ago. Think about me singing in my Thundercats t-shirt. Yeah. Profile picture was changed. I looked at them again and it was changed Victorian and then highlights. Followed that. Oh, maybe I do change it a lot. Maybe I do. I can't remember. I try. It was the night for like the longest time forever, and then maybe I changed it a couple of times. That's right. I can never remember if I changed it on Instagram, or I'm changing it on Discord, or I'm changing it on YouTube. Drads, Fallout Doctor, and yeah, and which one's the best one? Which one should I use? Do people think? Do they prefer the Astarian? Do they prefer the Knight? Which one do you remember being the best? I love these lights. I love how they don't have any. You can just, they're battery operated. Cyberpunk, yeah. done some more Victorian doctors. I don't know if people know this, but I've recorded I have 30 videos ready to go, but I just haven't edited them, so they're not ready to go. Dr. Cosmos, he was fun to do, wasn't he? I mean, my favourite line is when he's doing the potion shops and he says, "You're not a member of the Night Watch, are you? Because if you're a member of the Night Watch, you have to tell me," when he's selling those dodgy potions. But the medicine is DNR. When he writes DNR down, and he's like, "Don't normally read." That's right. I'll just don't normally read. I'll remember that. Or you can never tell which side the heart is on. Yeah. What's coming up soon is David from Prometheus. What's also coming up is that's right, he says that as well. That's a pretty funny one. And also Astarian is most certainly coming. And then I'm going to do another bartender. I'm going to do another wizard one, I think. And I already have a Victorian doctor. I need to release some torturous tooth extractions. I need next Victorian doctor. Oh, I don't do the horror stuff. Jane Saw, I don't do the horror stuff. Jim Chi, that's what you're looking for, if you want the horror. Lucifer Counting Our Sins video. Yeah, that one was a good one. I was thinking about bringing Lucifer back, because I quite like doing a Tom Ellis impression. But I didn't know what. And then someone suggested an idea. Both. A little bit of scripts, a little bit of improvisation. Some of the funniest things I think I've said were improvised, but I do write a script. More like a map, really, of a few things that I want to say. But sometimes I do have a script as well. I have a script right now on my phone of one of the David ones that I want to do that I haven't read out. I could read it out now, actually. Just see what people think of it. Let's have a look. Where is it? David. Because it's sort of like, basically there's a really dark one that I've filmed already, and then there's a one that's a little bit funnier, I think, where he sort of brings you on board, and he's like, "Welcome back, Doctor. Oh yes, you're the first to be awake. Well, except for me, of course." And then he talks about the project. It's like, Project Hubris itself is not particularly complicated. We've received an unidentified signal from a planet approximately 5 years away from Earth. And then he talks blah, 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 blah. Talks about the cargo. He just talks about the crew. And he's like, "You will likely interact with me the most, given I am the culmination of science. And you are the science person. You'll also be the only person on board who shows me any sense of empathy. So thank you for that in advance. I shall return this empathy in a way that is ambiguous to whether or not my feelings are indeed genuine." And then he does the bit where he says, "I look forward to one of us misinterpreting this empathy as something more romantic, which I'm sure will not have any unfortunate consequences. Just in case, however, I suggest we keep those feelings deeply hidden, if that's okay with you." And then he goes, boop, like that on the nose. So that's the David one that's coming. Yes. I'd like to try to do a fast bender. How have I never seen your YouTube channel? Very creative indeed. Well, welcome. Yes. So I like doing Michael Fassbender. I think he's a brilliant actor. I like to try to impersonate him, but I'm not very good. The trick, William Potter, is not minding that it hurts. I wish I could do him. I can't do him, but he's better than... Happy New Year from London. Wait a minute. What time's it in London? You should be in bed by now, shouldn't you? What time is it here? It's 8 o'clock. 20 past 8 right now here. So goodness, it must be 4 in the morning or something like that in London. Has he? Oh, I can't wait to see. 4:22. Oh yeah, that's right. 8-hour difference. It's yeah. I definitely will watch that. I was a bit disappointed that the new Prometheus movie didn't have Michael Fassbender. I would have just been happy just to keep going with his David, but it was still okay. A bit disappointed by it. Described as a good sci-fi movie and not a particularly good aliens movie. I don't know. I don't know how I... That's just one thing I thought, oh, maybe. Sweden. I hear everybody in Sweden is happy all of the time. And there's never any sadness there. Is that true? Because if so, we'll all move to Sweden. Because that sounds really nice. My voice is... And it disappeared. What was that? My voice is honey. Is like honey. And as a police officer, I need to unwind after work. That helps. Okay, good. You've told me. Because if you are a cop, you have to tell me you're a cop, right? Okay. So, everybody, we have a police officer on board. So, let's not say any of the things that we said before. Yes. To watch our tongues. Now, thank you very much for keeping us all safe. I appreciate that, Mealy. Are you a police officer in America? Or are you in Sweden? Or where are you from? People invited me to Texas and I never addressed that. Your meth is on its way. London. Oh, you're a Bobby. Is that what they call him? A Robert Peeler. Is that right? A peeler. Is there some sort of Cockney rhyming slang as well for a cop? What would you be like? What's the Cockney rhyming slang for a cop? Mental health case sucks. Quite nonchalant though. We submitters of dread late witness because of the slask. A Bobby indeed. Yeah. Robert Peeler. That must be interesting. I've watched some sort of like thriller type things. Not thrillers, but you know, like the crime things, where there's always like a grizzled, hardened cop who doesn't play by the rules. Is that what you're like? Do you throw the rule book straight out, and do you have like a partner who's really new, and like, but you're so jaded, and you're like, oh, I'm jaded. I don't do things this new way like how you do. Is that sort of how it goes down? Do you have like an internal monologue as well? Like it's 4:30 in the morning, and as soon as I saw her, I knew she was going to be trouble. Or is that's a private detective? Anyway, I imagine it must be really fun, like especially if you're working like later as well. I don't know why, but it just seems something so atmospheric about like being like a cop at night and stakeouts and stuff. Again, it's just fantasy stuff. It's like the old film noir stuff. I mean, Deckard, he was a cop, wasn't he? He was a Blade Runner. Yeah. Police Academy. Did anybody see Police Academy? Yeah, them old movies. They were... what was that name of the actor who was in there? He played Mahoney. And it was... he was in 3 Men and a Baby. I don't believe cops carry guns. London at night is quite something. Whitechapel, Jack the Ripper. Oh my god. Do you think you're going to catch him? That's a cold case, right? Yeah. I mean, I have my theories. If I'm honest, who it might be. Hopefully you don't find this too triggering, but we do have that Jack the Ripper here. It's, there he is. I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I know we've got a police officer on the call, but we're going to summon another demon. Can you be arrested for summoning demons? Depends what demon, I guess. Okay, we're going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, my uncle is a sheriff and carries a revolver and a shotgun. 1, 2, 3. No Country for Old Men. We were just discussing No Country for Old Men. Tommy Lee Jones is a sheriff, looking for someone who has recently drank milk. Okay. What do we have? Botus. Okay. Interesting. Botus. What does it say there? The Page of Swords. Now, swords are all to do with the intellect. The higher level of intellect, not the subconscious intellect. To do with the air elements. It's an air element. Think about swords like whooshing through the air. And that one is the page. And the page is to do with... I can't really remember what the page is to do with. Usually, because it's hard with these sort of like more modern cards, because you don't get the visuals. Like usually there's like 4 people competing over something, or you can see someone playing something on the ground. It's to do with curiosity, prying eyes. Okay, so this demon is about curiosity and prying eyes. Let's have a look. What's the symbol? Interesting. What does he look like? Looks like a snake. Interesting. So what does this Steve Gutenberg, that was it? Steve Gutenberg. God, that was a terrible show, wasn't it? Let's have a look. And what does he do for us? He gives answers of past. It's good. So, history. Not as good as our previous demon, who could do past, present, and future. I open carry, so it would feel weird not having my gun at my side. I loved Mahoney, America. Some culture shock would be someday. Good. Okay, so gives answers of the past. Oh no, I was mistaken. Past, present, and future. So that's amazing. So we can ask him anything about the past or the present. Basically, we can ask him about anything. So Botus is a lovely demon here. Let's hope he stays lovely. Reconciles friends and foes. Now, isn't that nice? So, if you've ever had an argument with a friend, and you thought, oh wow, this was a real bust-up, things that were said that could not be unsaid, well, what you need is a demon. And specifically, you need the demon Botus, who reconciles friends and foes. Now, I didn't wear my demon rings, so that's a little bit dangerous. Fortunately, he is a nice demon, so we don't have to worry about releasing him. So that's putting him back. Past, present, and future. If you could ask any question about the past, what would it be? What are you doing, Smith? I'm curious. I'm not sure. I mean, could you... I don't know. Can you work it out? I can't work it out. Happy New Year indeed. Happy New Year. Machiavelli. Now, it's interesting that you say that. I don't know if you know this, but I play D&D with Machiavelli every Wednesday. And he's actually a very, very horrible player. I'm thinking about booting him. He's what we call a murder hobo. He just likes to kill every NPC that comes around, and it sort of derails the story. It's not fun. He says that he's chaotic neutral, but chaotic evil, and there are different ways to play chaotic neutral. Okay, it doesn't have to be that way. Spider, a glove. My accent is a mix of many different accents. Oh, yeah, he is dead. Yes, that's correct. Lantern. How many times since you've been born? Oh, that's a good question. The Bull. I used to go to this place called the Bull's Head. And it was amazing. It was a pub. It wasn't amazing, actually. It seemed amazing at the time, and it had. I remember because it was travelling. There was a pub where you could go from the market up to Camlan, where the battle of murder. Paul offered him from being a murder goblin. Indeed, immortal has been on a very long time. I don't know. Time flies when you're a bit miserable. But this bow heed, it was on the way anyway. On the way to Chichester, I think it was. Was it Chichester? Yeah, maybe it was Chichester. And the what's going on here? I honestly, you know as much as everybody else. It's just don't worry about it. And so just be, I guess. Yeah, Chichester. What we call it, Chichester. Anyway, on the way to Chichester, I remember I would have to travel back and forth. I wouldn't have to, but you do some bad work, you would travel to different places. The most you could get out of a place was a week before people got sick of you. And they always say, always leave them wanting more. At the time, I read music, but that was okay because I only knew how to play 3 chords and on the lute, and that was all that was needed really, and a little bit of singing. I knew one song in French. My favourite was I am from Ireland. Ik an Irelander. I am from Ireland, the Holy Land of Ireland. Come play fair maid for St. Charity. Give it. Well, that one was a good one. Do I believe in demons? Not only do I believe in demons, I'm related to some of them. Now, that was a good one. There was a one about Robin Hood as well that I like to do, which was about Robin Hood. Oh, that was a brilliant one. I'm diverging from the pub. Anyway, I'll tell you about the Robin Hood one. Basically, it was this song. Robin Hood was dressed as a monk, and he came across 2 friars, and he was like, "Hey, do you have any money?" And the friars said, "Oh, we've got no money." And he said, "Oh, neither have I, so let's pray." And so he drags them down from their horses, and they're all afraid, and he says, "Let's pray." And then he says, "Let's empty out our pockets." And then these evil friars who've been like embezzling have 20 gold pieces in each one. And so he says, "Oh my goodness, look at that, 40 gold, let's share it out. I'll take 20, you both take 10. And then Robin Hood, off he goes. It's something like 2 lusty priests all dressed in black. He pulled them down from their horses. Anyway, I can't remember it exactly, but it was in the sort of Middle English as well. What was I talking about? I was talking about the Boar's Head. God, that pub. I always thought it was brilliant because it had 2 different types of beer. It had like a darkish ale, which I quite disliked. A lot of the places had darkish ales, which was disappointing. But it also had a more like amber ale, which I quite liked. So, and the guy who would serve there, it's called Roger. Roger, I don't remember his name. It was French. Conch, probably. Anyway, Roger would serve you as much beer as you wanted if you were playing on that night. And he'd had this soup. It wasn't called soup, it was called something else. What was the name of the soup? Anyway, he did that. And he also had this thing called moussed. And I loved moussed. You didn't really get it anywhere else. You get it in London. But moussed is just this spiced apple juice. Oh, it had like cinnamon in there. Very expensive cinnamon back then. And so you would have your cinnamon. No, it wasn't broth. It wasn't called broth. It was called something else. Ah, goodness gracious, what was it called? It will come to me. But it was not called broth. It wasn't called soup. It was, so the Boar's Head. I thought that was great. He's obviously moussed. Oh, moussed, as I say. It's apple juice with these spices. you'd be like, wassail, and then drink ale, and then you'd get your moose down. God, that was good. I never ever drank a moose like what Roger used to make. He would make such good moose. And he was pottage. It was called pottage. And he would make you a bowl of pottage and a little bit of bread, flat bread. And maybe sometimes you might get a quail. And that was a good day. Quails are hard to eat, in fairness. Not a lot of meat on a quail, but still fun when you've been travelling. Yeah. Ale brew barrel body in it. Oh, that doesn't sound very nice. They say Nelson was put into a bottle of brandy, don't they? Someone's great-grandfather was a moonshiner. And you're saying this in front of a Bobby Peeler? He made stuff that would make you go blind. Don'ts. Volcanoes. Trees. I believe it's the most dangerous profession in America to be a lumberjack. A lot of trees maybe falling on people and lots of dangerous machinery and things like that. Pond. On Golden Pond. Anybody watch that? Wall. Kniffer. You pronounced the K's, didn't you? Back in the Old English, you'd knight, kniffer, swan. So you would pronounce them as it's read. Oh, that's very sad. Nothing to joke about. Rabbit. Milk. Lion. And the moon. Swear not by the inconsistent moon, lest thy love prove likewise, shifting and changing its shape. It's not quite right, that, but it's Romeo and Juliet, isn't it? Mushrooms. Northern bush of Australia. Billabongs full of water lilies. Crocodiles. Billabongs. Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. And he sang as he watched, and he waited till his billy boiled, singing, "You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me." Black Cat. The Black Cat. What a movie that was with Vincent Price. I don't want to spoil it, but it involves a black cat, and it involves it solving the murder. Praying mantis. Apple. Do you think there are any atheist mantises? You think they all pray? Probably got to be a few of them there. Apple. Moose. We could have talked about moose for this one as well. Teacup. I have this really nice teacup that I used in my Charles Dickens. It's like old-fashioned sort of teacup that I kept water in, that I would drink from during the cool up to help my throat while we went. A little sip of water. Wings. Band on the Run. Remember Paul McCartney and Wings? They did. Did they do a James Bond song? Da 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 da. I think they did, didn't they? What was that? I think they did a James Bond song. Who did the most James Bond songs? Was it Shirley Bassey? Diamonds Are Forever, Goldfinger. I don't know. Live and Let Die. That's it. Boom. Ask a question. Owls on it every time. Nailed it as well. Time and Spoons. Do British people actually have tea time? Well, they do. But it's just the reason they name it as their supper or their tea. Oh, Admiral Hazy, Uncle Albert. I don't remember that one. Paul McCartney is so overrated. Not sure about that. Hedgehog. Hedgehog. I can't really think about anything that we can talk about with hedgehogs. Let me just make sure it gets zoomed in nicely. hedgehogs. I have seen them get x-rayed, and that is very cute. House. Eels. Talked about the kings, haven't we, who died of eating too many eels. Dolls. Spooky dolls. One time I lived in a house, and when we left, we checked the attic, and it was just had a child's chair, and had a doll sitting in the chair. Very spooky. Creature's paw. The monkey's claw. 3 wishes. 1, 2, 3. Be careful how you wish. There's a spell in D&D called Wish, and you can wish whatever you want. Although there's a 1 in 3 chance you'll never be able to wish again if you don't wish for a spell that already exists. An 1865 Civil War era musket. Wow, muskets. Preston Garvey would love that. And you can wish for things, but the DM is meant to be all spooky. That's the correct answer. Dogs. That's the correct answer. Yeah. So the DM can be quite tricky. So you might say, I wish the big bad to be dead. Well, the DM can catapult you 600 years into the future, where the big bad has died of old age. Cauldron. Double toil and trouble. Is it? That's it. Bubble. Braids. Peacocks. Elixir. The eye. So many love songs have the word eye in it, don't they? They reference eyes. I think I struggle to think of a love song that doesn't mention eyes. Fruit bats look very cute. I have seen pictures of them, only though. Yeah, I've only ever seen pictures of them. Yeah, I remember reading David Attenborough's story about that and bats. How he was talking about how they have perfect echolocation. So the chance of hitting him is next to nothing. And then one flew in his face. And so it ruined the take. Ghost. Snails. Skulls. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest. And we end on the chicken? Really? That's the last card, is the chicken? Huh. Curiouser and curiouser. I haven't gone through any of the tarot card decks, really. I think people are just distracting me with their fascinating comments. It's not a bad problem to have. This is my favourite tarot card deck. It's called the Carney Tarot. It reminds me of going to fairgrounds. Look how ancient it looks. Very old style. It's the Hermit. Thick, old cards. With that lovely carnival backing there. So what do tarot cards do? What are they exactly? Tarot cards started as playing cards in Italy in the 15th century. And then they became, in the 1800s, a method of divining the future or asking questions. So look at the tower. So for example, the tower symbols disaster. One of the worst cards that you can get. It's very pretty, this one. I like the way it looks. I mean, they have the devil and things like that, and also like death will come across them, but they don't necessarily always mean the negative thing that you want. This can sometimes just mean change, but unwanted change. I mean, it's negative, definitely. Upheaval, possibly violence. Good thickness to these as well. the Star. That one's a cool one as well, isn't it? I just love the way that they look. It's my favourite for sure. I just love the way they look. A Hierophant. Hierophant is like a religious leader. It's about tradition, convention. Following the rules. The sun. Not my favourite. Favourite is the moon. Very close. Sun is about happiness, joy, a sense of success. These cards are marked. There's a counting system on the back, depending on where the green dots are. Yeah, depending on where those green dots are, you can count them up. It's almost like a binary system. So you can tell which card is which upside down, which is quite powerful. Justice. I mean, can people guess what this one's about? Yes, it's about a sense of justice. Usually justice is blind, and you can't see that here. This, I think, is based off the more old Italian ones. But yes, justice can also mean cause and effect. It can also mean that you're going to come across a solution that is win-win for both parties because of balance. And it can also describe a truth coming to light. The devil. The devil, usually what you would see here would be two people enchained by the devil. But the chains are loose, and so they could escape if they wanted to any times they want. The devil tends to be about, well, it can be addiction, greed, a sense of materialism, and other negative things that you could potentially escape from. The Hanged Man. Upside down. You can see here that it's very loose fitting, the hanging there, and he is very relaxed. You can see how relaxed he is. He's just deliberately looking at things from a new perspective. He could get free if he wanted to. So the Hanged Man is just really about having this distant perspective. It can also be to do with gaining wisdom, and perhaps a sense of sacrifice. The Lovers. Oh, just got a glimpse of what comes next. But the Lovers is, again, quite literal. To do with love, partnership. It doesn't have to be romantic love. Hangman isn't bad, necessarily. It's looking from a different perspective. Although, if it's the other way around, because they mean different things depending on how they are oriented. It might mean that you need to look at something from a different perspective, and not just stick with what you have. And then we have the Lovers, which is, about love, about making the strength of two people together, about making decisions together. You do draw random cards, albeit that's how it's done. Although nothing is really random. Death. Now this is the coolest looking death I've seen on any tarot card. Even my favourite deck doesn't have this. There we go. Very cool. And we have a picture of a king here, and just a normal person. Tells you that death comes to everybody. It's the 13th card. You can see that there. Which is why 13 is sometimes considered unlucky. It's not really about literal death. It's about changes. Something coming to an end. But it also can be about rebirth as well. So death is not meant to be taken literally. Wheel of Fortune. Now that's quite literal. It's luck, good fortune, a turning point. And it could be to do with potentially taking a gamble. If it's the wrong way around, then it might be taking a risk that you shouldn't be taking. Yeah. The High Priestess. Esoteric. It's all about mystery, secrets, but also a sense of intuition. High Priestess. What else do we have? The Fool. We're all the Fool. All of us are the Fool. Because the Fool is a 0, doesn't have a number. Because it is the thing that travels across the tarot card deck. It's about adventure. It's about hope. New paths. The little dog here, it's white. It's to do with innocence. And in the Rider-Waite, it was, he looks like he's walking off a cliff, which is why you have to be careful when you're going on this adventure. Somebody asking me if we can do a Fallout ASMR. I could do that, yes. I was thinking about it. Took a long time to make the props, so it would be a shame if I didn't. So who would I get, though, to work on that? Tintin, oh my god, that was... I remember reading a little bit of Tintin as a child. So boring. So incredibly boring. The Empress, creation. It's to do with fertility as well, the Empress can be. But that can also come in abundance. And it can come to come with abundance, and it can come with, I don't know, like a sense of mentoring. Parents, card for parents. Strength is no surprise. It's about strength. It can also be about inner strength, inner reserves. And it can be to do with love, unconditional love. I just love the way these have been shaped. Let me look at the back there. It's so nice, isn't it? Feels really nice as well. Here we have the moon, the changing moon. It never stays. The same does it, the moon. It changes from missing to full to half moons, crescent moons. And it usually represents the subconscious. Maybe problems that you can't see that might end up resolving themselves. It can also be to do with intuition and a trust or a lack thereof of trust. The moon. The world. The highest and the last card. 21. The world can be about a lesson to learn. It can be about having a specific goal in mind, but often it means travel, moving to another place, emigration. You know, Tolstoy said there are only two types of story. there is a stranger comes to town, or somebody goes on an adventure. I don't know if we know better than Tolstoy, so but we're going to have to just agree with him. The Emperor is all about old-fashioned stuff, tradition, respecting the rules, but also sort of a father figure, but also it's to do with having a good plan, strategy. To be a good emperor, you have to be good at strategy and executing plans. A little bit like Machiavelli, who I hate. And then there's the chariot. Chariot's all about movement, speed, action. Yeah. Again, it can also mean a journey, but typically it's the time for action is now. Judgment. The trumpet of judgment. Everybody gets judged. So, judgment is to do with a final decision that needs to be made, or that will be made for you, or your life's purpose coming into focus. That's also possible. Perhaps some sort of clarity that's been shared. Let's shed some light. The magician. The magician points his wand up to the sky, showing that he's in touch with the creative and the mystical and the esoteric. But his other hand points to the ground, which shows that he is earthed. He understands worldly things as well. And he has on his table, he doesn't have it in this one, we can't really tell so well, but he has on his table a pentacle and a wand, and also Happy New Year. So the other sword and also a cup. It's not shown here, but it just shows that sense of balance, because the magician is all about, well, action through knowledge. It's to do with creativity, focus, turning things real. Happy New Year, the dice have spoken. Temperance. Again, a literal card. It's to do with making sure you don't go to any excess. But it can also mean balance. Having things in perfect harmony because of your sense of temperance, or your sense of self-control. Everything in moderation, says Temperance. And those are my old-fashioned cards, my circus cards. It's getting late here, so I will be wrapping up at some point. So if anybody has any requests or any questions, let me know now. But I will be talking about some of my friends 2025. Yes. Talk about some of my friends to close. Will you find love this year, Mr. Smith? Well, let's find out. Let's flip a coin. Where do we have our coins? We have some coins over here at Burn. Oh, you can't get any more literal than this, can you? Any other questions? Will you find love this year? It looks like that is an affirmative. All we need is love. Was that what the Beatles said? What was it Crosby said? Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. He said, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Right, so this is a letter that I got from Gruffly, Grimcloud and Grimclaw. I didn't get this, but no wind, still feet. That reminds me of Detective Rutherford, but we'll not talk about him because he is missed. This is an elocution lesson. Remember when they would see those in the newspapers, the elocution lessons? Are you being held back by your dreadfully common voice? Yes, that's the story of my life. Being held back by my dreadfully common voice. Can I do Sherlock Holmes? Yes, I can. Will the no controller reference moment flip a coin? I thought, call it. Oh yeah, that would have been good. It's the best I can do. Call it. Call it. Here's it is. This is your lucky coin. You keep it. Don't just throw it in with the others, otherwise you'll lose it like it's an ordinary coin, which it is. God, that movie was such a good movie. Can I do another Sherlock Holmes? Yep, I already said yes, I'm going to do one of those. I just have to write it. I have to write a new Sherlock Holmes, that's all. Sports fans. Tinglesmith is very handsome, just saying. Well, that's very nice of you. Indeed. Flattery will get you everywhere. I actually don't really know what I look like. When I look in a mirror, I don't see a reflection. Don't put it in your pocket. That's what he says. Yeah. How about Clockwork Orange book rate? It's not. I think it's still in copyright. That. So a nice idea. I could do a Clockwork Orange roleplay, but there's a lot of makeup involved, and I don't have the bowler hat. I was going to tell you about Lady Constance Sandcroft. I knew her at Cambridge. She was a violinist. And she eventually went on to marry Lord Howard Harkin. So she became not Ms. but Lady Constance Harkin. And she had a very... Well, she's not a good one to end on, but she had a very sad life with him, actually. He was not a very nice man. But I remember she really enjoyed the rule of threes. Everything she would say would be 1, 2, 3. So she'd be like, punting on the Thames and going to the Bodleian, and something else. She would always suggest 3 things at once. Remarkable woman. I have a picture of her. I'm going to share the picture of her. If I can find it. There she is. I don't have a picture of her when she was younger. This one is from 1912. There she is. She's a highly intelligent woman. She studied music. She was very good at Corelli. She did some Corelli concerts. Had a very sad start to her life. Her father wasn't the best. Had a sort of sad middle, but then I hear that she was very, very, very happy towards the end of her life, which is nice. I'm very glad about that. And there was a gramophone recording of her doing the sonata. I've got the paper for it actually. The sonata, this is just a printout, this isn't the original. Sonata 8 from Corelli. This is Corelli's music. And she... I might have a link to it. I wonder if I have a link to it. If people would like to listen to Constance Sandcroft, if anybody's interested, let me know. Otherwise, I'll not bother. But she used to play very... Happy New Year! And good night. 30 minutes from Cambridge. Perfect. And she would, yeah, just very, very. Actually, I think I've got a younger picture of her as well somewhere. If you do want to hear her, I mean, you could. There's a thing you can scan there. I don't know if it will work. Let me see if I can get it to work through there. Yes, I think that might work. So yes, Constance Sancroft. Yes, Corelli 12, Violin Sonata Op 5, number 8. So there is a recording from the 1st of June 1901. Was this one then? No, this was August, so this was before. Okay. Doesn't say what the concert is on this. But yes, if you want to listen to Constance, there's a little thing you can scan there. Scan the middle bit, Mealy. Scan the QR code there, and it will take you to her performance. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. I didn't know this person. Lizzie. She was Constance's maid. Have a copy. This was also Lily's elocution lessons. She'd cut out. This was the Blessed Church of St. Julian the Hospitaller winter program. Okay, so I already know what the back's going to say. It's going to say, "Abide with me." He loved that. Yeah, exactly. Abide with me. The Father Silas absolutely loved that. I've got a picture of him as well. Where's Silas? He was massive. He would, I think he was 6'8" tall. The super chat option that you pay for, do you get the dollar Tinglesmith rather than YouTube? I do, but I only get 30%, or they take like 40%, something ludicrous like that. So if you ever want to support me, best way is to buy my book, A Symphony in Shadow and Steam. That always feels nice. Or like a patron for $1 would be better, or even for nothing, or just enjoy my content for free. That's also absolutely fine. I do have a book, so everything I've just been speaking about is all about a book. So it's a steampunk murder mystery. So Father Silas, he's in there. Constance Harkin, she is part of it. And the book comes voiced. I don't know, I've just been talking about this entire time. This is the first time I've plugged the book in 3 hours. Is this A Symphony in Shadow and Steam? Let me write it using my my tarot card smith there, right now. And it is a symphony in Shadow and Steam, and it's on Gun Road. Yeah. It's if you Google it, it will come up, and it is on Gumroad. It was on Kickstarter. It did all right on Kickstarter. There was a luxury one where you got all of these things, all of the different things. And I've written 3 others, so I'll probably release the luxury ones. But it all comes with evidence and things like that. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mealy. Thank you very much, Tan and Smuts. And it comes with evidence. The digital version is voiced as well by some ASMR artists, some famous ASMR artists, and also somebody who was in Harry Potter. And also, I can't get rid of the book sound. Cookbook. So it is something I can't get rid of. That it irks me that actually, because I spent some time in the north, and I don't like accents. So yeah, it's voiced by some really cool ASMR artists, my friends, and also by some actors. If you've ever watched Blackadder, there's an actor from Blackadder in it who does his records the personal statement, and there's another one from other stuff, the famous one, quite a famous person in there as well. So they are voiced, and then when you get to the end, you get to guess who did it. It has evidence in it and things like that. I'll show you some of the evidence. So, it's not Rowan Atkinson. He is far too cheap to do anything for free. So, or even a reasonable price. So this is the new Scottish Yard. This is an evidence folder. Mealy, you will be very familiar with this because I believe that's how it's still done to this day. So this is New Scottish Yard, and this is sort of really a lot like how Mealy does his job, I think. Hopefully I'm not giving too much of an insight into your work, but he'll be doing things like this. He'll be going through crime scene diagrams and like, oh look, there was how the murder happened. And then he'll be going through timelines of events and things. And this is what happened on 11 AM to 3 PM. And we'll have, well, that's an undisgracing. That's Copperhand's undisgracing. We can ignore that. But this is the sort of thing, Mealy, you do, right? And you're going through things like this, like autopsy reports. And like, I'm assuming they're all printed out like this professionally on an Underwood typewriter. I hope so, anyway. And then you'll have pictures of the evidence itself. So maybe a cog was found, or there was a tarot card found. Oh my god! And it's the 10 of Swords. That's the worst one. Nobody wants the 10 of Swords. You could, but not anymore. There are no hard copies left. There will be when I launch my second book. I'm going to do a full run of the second book and the first book. I'll buy them together. And then apparently it's done on computers now. That's the one. The Symphony of Shadow scheme. That's the one, Pondering Owl. You've bought it. Did you guess who it was? Owl, in the end. Did you guess? Don't say, obviously. But I don't know. I don't believe you, Mealy. I think you still do it this way. I've seen you knocking around with typewriters. Yeah, and you still do this stuff as well, don't you? Like put like evidence tags on stuff. Like, oh, we found the key, Governor. Have you ever said, we know it was you what done it? Because I just feel like I would have to say that as a copper. To slam my fist on the desk and go, we know it was you what done it. Oh, there's no hurry. There's no hurry. The fact that you got it is you've just like flattering in itself. So yeah, there's the New Scottish Yard. We know it was you what done it. And it has all the characters. It has Professor. Do you have a mailing list? I'd love the hard copy rather than the digital. Well, I'm not sure when the second hard copy will be out. I mean, you could be waiting over a year for it, but yeah, maybe longer if I release it at all. Because I'm going to do some D&D quests as well. Hopefully releasing those. There's Rupert Gromwald, Reginald Gromwald, sorry. Old Reggie. There's Howard Harkin, he's the guy who gets it. Rupert Harkin, his champagne socialist brother. I must admit, I'm a champagne socialist. It's awful. There's Eudora Windling. She was voiced by Amy Kay. He was voiced by the guy from Blackadder. He was voiced by somebody famous. He was voiced by somebody famous. She was voiced by and this character, Whisper Audios. They sound so different. She does such an amazing job of making them sound so different. It's because her doctor and also her Victorian peasant girl were just so perfect. I couldn't not. And then there's Dr. Hogmanay Copperhand, and I think that's all of the characters in there. I'm probably missing one or two. But yeah, so there's that. There's Symphony in Shadow and Steam, and the second book that's coming is called. It's written. When will I release it though? Death in the Skies. And Death in the Skies is you are on a luxurious. Basically, they're not really they're books, but they more feel like a journey. So like the Death in the Skies, you get a brochure of what it's going to be like, your experience is going to be like on the airship, because like a luxury airship cruise. And then there are clues in there, and you can solve it by the end. And you get copies of people's passports, for example, in that. Oh, my text wasn't. Sorry, my chat wasn't going. So, I am a governor. Okay, I love D&D, no problem. I've said you're nicked. Well, I love that. You're nicked, me old mucker. Time's going on with me. The whole crowd sing happy birthday to me. Wow, that's nice. I love that. Got it. Who did the cover art for Shadow and Symphony in Shadow and Steam? God, I can't remember their name. I can look it up. But they also do the last thing as well, which is they did this amazing thing at the back. It probably says in the back. Or maybe it doesn't say. I can't remember if they want to be credited or not. But anyway, they do this like London. Like, you know, those old-fashioned posters from London. They did loads of stuff as well. They did like Hobbiton, like those old-fashioned travel to Hobbiton. They were brilliant and very reasonably priced. I love all your collection. How lovely for the whole Times Square to sing happy birthday. That is really nice. Who was the Blackadder dude? Okay, I'll tell you the Blackadder. Do you remember Pitt the Younger from Blackadder the Third? The one who's like, how dare you speak down to me, you middle-class oik? And he's like, the actor from that. That person, he did it for me because he had a nice, perfect, posh, sort of snobbish voice for it. So I asked him if he would do it, and he did it for me. It was very nice of him. Did it for free as well. Isn't that lovely? Did it for free. Can't end up. This is too big a dice. Barely even rolls. Look at that. 18. Not bad. Word for word. I mean, it's such a good show. It's just so quote-worthy, isn't it? It's, what's your favourite Blackadder quote? I think my favourite is, you know, Blackadder, yesterday a man said that I had the wit and sophistication of a donkey. And he said, oh, I wouldn't say that, sir. Unless it was a particularly stupid donkey. I remember thinking it was fun. You guys should scan this, and you should listen to Lady Constance Sandcroft at her peak, at her absolute height of brilliance. Remarkable. Remarkable. It'll take you through to the link of her performance. I'm going to listen to it after this. It was just a really, really great performance. We need more information to be able to pay you. Now I have to watch The Mummy again. Oh, someone's just watched my Howard Carter. I love that Howard Carter. Didn't you do an ASMR collab with him and several other creators? I did. That's why I knew him. So that's why he follows me on Twitter, and I followed him. And we did a Blackadder, the second one, and he was in that. That's the one, the downy hair. Yes, that's him. He's called Mr. Simon Osborne. That's his name. And yeah, we did do a collab, and that was quite a fun collab. I played Blackadder. I didn't want to play Blackadder. I was happy to be Melch or something. I don't know, one of the. But they had no Blackadder, so I did it, and then I did my Tudor Doctor at the same time. did my tutor doctor at the same time, which meant I got 2 birds with 1 stone, which was nice. 2 birds with 1 stone. I haven't even used these coins yet. So we've used the life and death with use, yes. We haven't used the plain sailing or siren coin. And we haven't used the plenty or famine coin. So I'm going to use one of them now. So if you do have a question for the plenty coin, let me know. And then I'm going to do the famine and feast coin. So if you have a question for the famine and feast coin, let me know. And we'll turn them over. Ministry of Acceptable Literature. Yeah, that's... Fallen Island was so good. You know which game bombed that I thought was very sad? Was Mask of the Rose. I thought that was really good, but it bombed. Maternally Outraged Gorilla. That's right, that was Baldric, wasn't it? Yeah. That ending. I liked how the episodes were called things like Private Plane or Captain Cook. So they were all named after the ranks and things. Okay, first question. Siren. Be careful. There could be trouble. There may be trouble ahead. Nat King Cole. So you got the siren there. It's not necessarily plain sailing. We can't end on that. But then we've got this one. Perfect. Feast. Plenty. Plentifulness. Good night, Owl. Enjoy the last few hours of 2024. Please put out another video. I haven't slept in 2 months. Well, I've got a video coming out on Monday. Sorry, on Sunday coming. So, well, it's been 3 hours and 17 minutes. So I think I'm going to have a little break now. Going to say goodbye, and I'm hoping that we can do another live session soon. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to rest my old back. Yeah. And get ready for a new year. Hopefully, for everybody, it's an even better year than it was last year. And if not, I'm sure. Okay. So yes, I wish everybody a happy new year. And people like this going live. Feels like a lot of people turned up. So maybe I'll do another live session at some point in the middle of the... Oh, that's scary. Some point in the middle of next year. Middle of next year, I mean like February, maybe March or something like that. I love the red sheer on these things. On the edge. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for spending this time with me. It was an honor to spend these last few hours of 2024 with you all. And I really appreciate it. And let's do this again soon. It was fun. It was very fun. Have a very brilliant Happy New Year, everybody.